Stuff's happening. It says that we're live. Is there anyone here? It says 10 people waiting. Concurrent viewers 10, 11. Yeah, it booted up. I'm watching it back right now. I'm not obnoxiously loud, so that's the only thing that I was worried about. But if I am obnoxiously loud, anyone, just let me know. Do you have your audio connected? Open up OBS. Where's your mic? Which one is it? Like right click on the actual meter. Yeah, go to proper. Yeah. Go to properties. Make sure the right one is muted. Hello, everyone.
Okay, there we go. Oh, I'm peeking. How do I turn that down?
You can turn it down just with that bar, the blue bar.
Okay. Hopefully I'm good.
Is that better?
Yeah. Guys, are you guys hearing me?
I'm hearing a lot of wind.
What?
Oh. Okay, now it's better. I was hearing the echo of the stream.
Is everybody hearing this properly? Please comment and tell us if this is working. $20. We just got a $20 donation.
That's absolutely insane.
Joe, thank you. Thank you
Logan.
so much. Okay, you can hear us? Okay, yo, Joe, thank you so much for the 20. I mean, that's one way to start this off.
Babcock was right. Andrew, you got to send him back to $20.
Oh, Joe. Joe. Don't do this to me, Joe. I like you, Joe. Okay. Guys, this is not... What you're seeing right now is not our official team. We just want you to get in here initially. Sound is good now. Okay, I think we're cooking now. I think
my webcam might look a little bit fuzzy, but we're doing good. I think everything's up and running.
Yeah, okay. Awesome. What's up, everybody? Thank you for stopping in. And stream over. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I do want to share this, so I'm going to quickly post this on Twitter. All right. What is the chat saying? Is there anything on there? DTSB.
Everyone's just coming in saying hello.
Okay.
How's your guys' day going? It's just quarantine in paradise right now.
All right, I'm putting hashtag Leafs Forever in the tweet because maybe somebody will see it.
David Clarkson is not touching Austin Matthews. They will not be in the same room together.
Yeah, no.
But I do have a David Clarkson jersey in the room over. Trade Marner? No, we're not doing that.
Somebody put, I'm supposed to be doing my history paper, but can't pass this up.
Logan, if anything goes wrong with that history paper afterwards, we are not to blame for it.
Yeah, that's not our fault. You're not in lockdown? Oh, geez, lucky you. What's up from Newfoundland? What's up? All right, there's 25 people currently here. Hopefully, we will get some more people in here. I'm sure we will.
11 million what? Water bottles?
Yeah, we'll give him some water bottles or maybe treatment appointments for whatever's wrong with him, his back or whatever it is. Okay, we got 27 people. Oh, damn. Prom canceled. That is not fun.
Prom's overrated anyway. Don't worry.
Isabel.
It's not on much.
Isabel, I feel bad. I went to prom and my girlfriend and I left early to watch a hockey game. So, I mean, yeah, that just sums it up. We walked into Gino's Pizza after not eating barely any of the food that they served us at prom. In a dress, me in a complete suit, we walked into Gino's, and that was how the night ended. We just watched hockey and ate pizza. So, no
Gino's
after
pizza
party.
is pretty good though.
Yeah, Gino's Pizza's elite. Yo, we need Gino's to sponsor.
No free shoutouts.
Yeah. Yeah, his backer from carrying the team. Yeah, I guess. Well, we can go with that, Nick. I don't know about that one. Okay, so basically, I guess we can explain a little bit before the stream gets too crazy. This is the first stream, anyways, that we're kind of testing this type of setup out in, and of course, I'm with Downtown Sports. His channel is linked in my description box. So what I'd like you guys to do, please, is click open a new tab so you don't run away from the stream, and subscribe to his account, because if you want more Leaf content, it's that guy.
I promised at the beginning of this shutdown that we are not going to be going without hockey content over on Downtown Sports, and we have posted almost every single day.
Yeah.
And not just like little choppy videos and stuff like that. Hard-hitting analysis.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard-hitting.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want a different opinion other than mine, then you definitely should go and watch him, because we like different opinions, even though, you know what, a lot of the time we actually agree on stuff, so I don't know how much people like that, but
we're gonna argue a lot today.
Well, maybe.
I think we're gonna disagree about all the trades that we're gonna be talking about right now.
Oh, okay. New software.
iTunes,
available.
go away.
Yeah, it said software available. I'm like, okay, wait, that's not on the stream. So, as you guys can see, right now, currently, we have Armchair GM on Cap Friendly. Shout out to Cap Friendly. Everybody knows about it. They're amazing. We are going to be talking about what the Leafs can do next season, because there's going to be something called a flat cap. Now, Downtown Sports, you want to let the people know about why there's going to be a flat cap and why we'll be working with this number.
So basically, the NHL salary cap is 50-50, the owner's money and the league revenue. So because we might not have playoffs and we missed a portion of the regular season, that revenue stream is going to take a huge hit. So the cap is not going to meet that $84.3 to $88 million projection, whatever it was. So more than likely, it's going to be a flat cap, or it might even be lower. Like, it might be like slightly lower. Andrew, me and you have been going back and forth on this. You thought it was going to be like the apocalypse. It's going to drop like $6 or $7 million, and I was like, no, it's not going to happen. We're not going to let it happen. We're going to keep being positive and stuff like that. It's going to be flat.
Hey, honestly, I don't want to disagree with you, so I'm going to just say 81.5, because that's what I want it to be at. I want it to be at like 84, like it was supposed to be, but hell, I would have just loved it at 83. Like, I mean, anything going up would have been fine, but it looks as though it's going to be a flat cap, which, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's kind of upsetting, but it's also fine, because we know that's what it's got to do. So, listen, we're going to be making what we believe could be the team for next year. We also could probably do variations of it. There'll probably be a few different versions of this, because we disagree on some stuff, we agree on some stuff, and it's going to be fun to see how the chat agrees with what we're saying. So, oh god, Arcade Regiment, Marinson for captain. You know,
oof,
that could happen.
How do we block Phil from the stream?
I mean, it could happen. Yeah, Cameron, CJ said the other day that he doesn't think it will go down, but and I mean, I trust him probably more than just about anybody who talks about hockey and the Leafs, but I mean, he can't really fully say that yet, so he's just kind of giving his opinion on what he thinks, because I'm sure the NHL hasn't made that decision. They're nowhere near that decision yet, so we kind of have to play it by ear. But
I do trust CJ though.
Oh, me too, 100%. Like if I read something from him like that, or like I said on the Steve Dangle podcast, like anything he says, I'm pretty much taking it as gospel at this point because he's usually correct. So, um, all right. Basically, you guys know these are the guys that are under contract for next season. So, Andreas Janssen, again, we'll get to him in a little bit because there's a good chance DTSB over here has a lot to say about Yanni. Um, and we'll have to bring up what CJ also said because it kind of could dampen those plans a little bit. Um, Obviously, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner, you're not touching those guys. Same thing with Zach Hyman, Tavares, and Nylander. You've got Pierre Engvall, a little bit of a DTSB guy as well. He likes to talk about him a little bit. We got Alex Kerfoot.
We're gonna get into it.
Yeah,
with Pierre Engvall.
Yeah, we're probably gonna. But Kerfoot, and then Kapanen. So that entire third line that you're seeing there is up in the air. It's really up in the air. And then on defense, you can see Riley and Hall, Muzzin, Sandin, Rosen, and Marinson. The goaltenders, Freddie Anderson and Jack Campbell. So those are all the guys that they technically have under contract for next season. Whether or not those guys actually stay there, I mean, that's what we're going to get into. So there's some comments here saying, you think Toronto Maple Leafs trade Kapanen, Kerfoot, and Janssen for more better defensive players because the Leafs have Mikheyev, Barabanov, and Bracco, maybe Robertson. Well, we'll get into all those names, trust me. But you can't trade all those guys and replace them with just those guys. So, yeah, people are saying we're getting a lot of Kerfoot comments.
This is like tackling like a mess. Like we just gotta pick a spot and jump in with this. So Andrew, where do you want to start here? What player do you want to start with?
Okay, well,
I think we're gonna have some analysis on just about everyone here.
First off, you have to go with what CJ said on the Steve Dangle podcast. Barabanov was promised a spot on this team. He's pretty much locked in. I mean, you got to give him at least a shot. So he is going to be on that fourth line more than likely. Maybe the third line if something happens. I don't know. But I doubt it. I would think he would be on the fourth line. I think another guy that we kind of have to get out of the way right away is what CJ also mentioned. And that was the fact that Jason Spezza is probably coming back to the Leafs on a very cheap deal, more than likely the same deal that he was on before. What was it, 750 or was that 700?
700K flat. And Chris Johnson was saying that about Jason Spezza way back to like January. He was saying that it was going to be Toronto or bust and the money doesn't matter.
So yeah.
Love me some Jason Spezza just because Toronto or bust.
Yeah, me too.
You got to bring him back.
So Jason Spezza, I mean, you got to have him there. So he's there at 700K. Then, sorry if you guys can hear my dog in the background. I'm not really going to stop her. Then we got to go with a guy that a lot of people probably would expect would make the jump next year. Nic Robertson. That's a guy that I think you have to at least consider going up there because of the cap implications and because he's nasty. He's got a great shot.
Nic Robertson, I mean, I did an entire video on him before the OHL stoppage and before the entire sports stoppage happened, but he has like the 5th or 7th best goal scoring season in OHL history this year with the Peterborough Petes. And it's just absolutely amazing. And if he didn't miss time due to an injury, he would have hit 60 in his sleep and maybe even 70 goals this year.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
Kyle Dubas is on the record saying that they really like him defensively and that they regret him not getting games in the preseason last year. So, Andrew, I don't know about you, but I am locking in Nic Robertson for at least 9 games with the Leafs next season.
Yeah, I would 100% agree with you. Honestly, I hope that he gets to play the full season. That would be, dude, you don't know how fast I would have a Nic Robertson jersey. Like, there's no, like, I would have one. If he guaranteed that his number was going to stay the same, I would probably buy one because I'm a sucker, okay?
It'd be hanging right in between Johnny T and William Nylander.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
You're not being shy at all. Just Nylander plastered right in the background.
Of course, Willie the Kid. All right, so we got a comment saying Liljegren will, in capital letters, play next year. Are you sold on that?
I mean, well, let's finish up with the forwards right now, and then we're gonna have a larger conversation about the defense.
Okay.
but I definitely do think that Timothy Liljegren factors into next season.
All right. So in terms of guys who could be a scratch, guys forwards that could be there, that's kind of a thing where we'd have to look into their RFAs and UFAs and see if there's holes to fill there. Did you want to do that now, or did you want to consider which guys could be coming out of the lineup?
Let's do who can be coming out of the lineup so then we can talk about those RFAs and we could talk about their contracts and the money and see how that works a little bit better.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's look at guys here that are the obvious trade options. So, and we'll put them. We'll do the DTSB special and put them in the long term injured reserve just for now. So, if you guys see a guy going into here, it's not because they're on long term injured reserve. It's because we're gonna consider them a tradable asset. Okay. So let's move Andreas Janssen into there because there's a very good chance he could get traded. But we do have to bring up what CJ said on the Steve Dangle podcast, and he brought up the fact that because Andreas Janssen was out, the Leafs could be screwed in terms of trading him. They might not be able to. So, what's going to happen there? Do you think that they'll still be able to trade him, or do you think it's going to be difficult for them to trade him?
It's a very real possibility that teams are going to look at the injury that he sustained because it wasn't just a simple one. I believe it was his hip.
Yeah.
Right? It was his hip, and he does require surgery on that, and he was going to be out about 6 months. But if you look at the trade market in and around the trade deadline last year, wingers were flying for picks. Blake Coleman got a lot of attention. Guys were going, and I'm not saying that Andreas Jansson's as good as Blake Coleman, but wingers were getting attention at the trade deadline, and the defense was actually not really going for a whole lot. I think that in any trade with Andreas Janssen, I think you're just looking to just clear the cap space. Just clear the cap space out there. I will take less back in assets to just clear the cap space. So he might just be available for free.
Wow.
Or close to it. I mean, if teams are going to be really that weary about the injury, we will get to guys like Mikheyev and the RFAs and the UFAs soon. But right now we're talking about Andreas Janssen. So, I mean, I let him go for a couple of mid-round picks. It's all about clearing out that cap space because we're going to need every single dollar.
Yeah, that's really true. Like, for us to get a defenseman, it's gonna have to happen. So this is where it gets interesting because should we just trade Janssen right away? Because we're gonna.
Let's finish up with our thing and then we'll try to find some trades afterwards.
Okay, so are we moving Pierre Engvall?
Pierre Engvall, oh God, I mean, the first like 30 or 40 games that he was up with the Leafs, he was doing awesome. He was almost about a half a point per game, and he was looking like a real steal. And then he signed that contract extension for 2 years, $1.25 million, and that just seemed to be his kryptonite. He was Superman out there, and they just hit him with that kryptonite. And in his last 19 games played, he's got 1 goal and 1 point, and that was the goal that he scored against David Ayres. So I don't even know if that really counts. And it's just the Leafs cannot afford to be paying a guy like Pierre Engvall $550,000 more than league minimum to just be breaking even with his play. He's got to give them more at 5-on-5, and he's got to give them more on the special teams.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I agree with everything you just said there. I think that Engvall really proved to a lot of people that he could have belonged in like the first half of the season, and then it just kind of tailed off. And I was like, okay, well, like I know that this guy is better than what he's playing like, but come on, like I don't know. I'm a fan of giving him another chance to play on this team because just based off the fact that like they did just sign him and he could have just been going through a slump. Like you never know. Like there's a chance that if the season finished, he probably could have had a good end to the season, and then we're not worrying that much. It's just kind of like, okay, he hit a bit of a slump, right? That you get that contract, you get really excited, and then you kind of hit a bit of a bump. That's where I'm kind of at with him, where it's like you maybe you give him another sample size just to start the year because you've already put time into this player, and if you're able to move out the next guy that we're talking about, if you choose to do that, then you have an option to play Engvall at center to minimize how much time older players get, and we'll get to another guy that could get signed to this Leaf team. There's a lot of different players that can fill roles in here, but another guy that's being talked about, Kerfoot. Now, I keep going back and forth on this one because he's a good third line centerman. Like, I think people miss the fact that he doesn't have to be more than a third line centerman. Like, that's just what he is. So I don't know if they trade him and try to go for a guy that's cheaper for that, third or fourth line center position, or they straight up are just trading him to clear out money to maximize their opportunity to get a defenseman. That's where we have to figure out.
The thing with Kerfoot is that I think he has more value than Andreas Janssen, obviously, and he signed for the next couple of seasons at a decent cap hit and whatnot. But the thing that you got to look at Kerfoot is that last year I believe he had 17 points on the power play with Colorado, and I believe this year with the Leafs he's nowhere near that.
Yeah.
And I think people are not understanding the injury that he had earlier on in the season in November when he broke his jaw or something like that. I think Jeff Carter hit him real hard.
Yeah.
And he was wearing the fishbowl for a little bit. And it's just like, I don't think people understand these athletes. Like, when they come into the season, they're at a certain body weight. And as they go through the season, that's not that same body weight anymore. They probably lose maybe about 5, 10, 15 pounds throughout the season because you're just constantly working out and you're constantly playing, that there's not enough time to keep building that up, that you lose a lot of it. And he wasn't able to eat for like an entire week or two. And for a professional athlete, he came back pretty quick. And I think his season's been derailed ever since like the middle of November when he came back from that injury. And I don't think it's fair. It's a fair assessment of what Alexander Kerfoot is capable of.
Yeah, I honestly, like, that's why I keep going back and forth with him. So, I don't know, should we put him back into the lineup? What should we do there? Because, I mean, it's difficult to trade a guy like that, in my opinion, just based on a depth perspective.
I am back and forth with him, but if you want to keep him out just so that we have the cap space in the meantime, and then we can revisit it a little bit later. But I'm not a huge fan of trading him. I'm open to it, but I'm not a huge fan of doing it.
Yeah, and you see, people in the comments are saying, well, Kerfoot is on power play 2 and not power play 1. But see, that's our point, is that Kerfoot got those points because he had those opportunities, but in Toronto, he's not going to get those opportunities. It's like, you're playing him over Matthews and Tavares? I don't think so. That just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, and also, the Leafs power play 2 unit kind of sucked this year. Can we just be honest about that?
Yeah, it did suck. Michael Anderson says that Kapanen stinks and that we should trade him for Virtanen. No.
I mean, Jake Virtanen's had a bit of a breakout season, but I'm liking Kasperi Kapanen and his standout skill. And people are going to not really remember Kasperi Kapanen in the last couple of games of the season there, but he was really coming on with a different element of his game there, showing some, yeah, exactly. Cheeks Kapanen is greater than Jake Virtanen, Lucas, all the way there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and Virtanen is not stronger than Kasperi Kapanen. Like, sorry, he's just not. Engvall as third line center, give more minutes to Matthews and Tavares. See, that's what I was thinking as another option. It's like, if you really are dedicated to like making this blue line a lot better, this is where it gets into the argument that DTSB and I have had before, where it's like, do you go all in for multiple defensemen, or do you just go for one guy? And that's kind of where both of us are different a little bit. But I mean, I don't think you would disagree with me if you were able to find a replacement center like a Pierre Engvall, and it kind of works out, and you're able to upgrade that blue line with 2 pieces instead of 1. I mean, then we're laughing, right? But
I'm just all about depth here. Like, what's this roster going to be? Like, we need, like, I'm not necessarily looking to make a flashy trade in the offseason. I'm just looking to accumulate depth, and then we can reassess the situation maybe closer to the trade deadline next year, whenever that is, if there is one. And then we can use some of that depth that we held on to through this offseason to reassess what the problems are next year, when we haven't had our starting goalie, who's been an absolute rock for us, playing not up to his standards for the entire season. That's a
Right.
huge impact on this Leafs team. And I guess we'll talk about Frederick Anderson later on because that is a different conversation to have.
Yeah, we will because he was just not good. I mean, I can't say anything else. He just wasn't good. Um, by the way, somebody was saying, how is he not stronger? I mean, weight doesn't necessarily just mean you're stronger. I mean, you kind of have the right muscle weight. You have to proportion your body properly. Just because you weigh more doesn't mean you're stronger. Because if that was the case, then we'd be looking at the world in a much different uh, glass or whatever. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Vertanen is very hot and cold, and just because somebody hits, I'm not giving up a 20 goal scorer who can fight now all of a sudden and is very physical, can get under people's skin. Like, this is just a comment of it doesn't seem like you watched very many games this season. Just to put it frank like that, but
Of the three of them that were rumored to get traded, Kapanen, Janssen, and Kerfoot, Kasperi Kapanen has the highest ceiling of all three of those guys
yeah.
by far. And it's just like I think that we're just scratching the surface on his potential, really.
Yeah, no, he's definitely better than people give him credit for. Like, he's turned into a much different player. Like, he's not a soft player by any means. I don't see how anybody could think that. The Leafs are definitely a softer team, but that doesn't include Kasperi Kapanen. That guy is he does what he can. So, are we moving Pierre Engvall into the long-term IR spot in trade value type of what
I
are we
wouldn't
doing?
I wouldn't trade Pierre Engvall just because if we were to bury him in the minors, it would be 175K against the Maple Leafs cap for next season, and he would be depth for them, right? You could call him up at any time, and he'd be absolutely perfect to fill a position on the fourth line, a position on the third line, on the penalty kill and whatnot. But I'm not convinced that he's earned a spot on this team. And that's what Chris Johnson was saying on the Steve Dangle podcast, is that there's a lot of depth now. There's a lot of competition. And for Pierre Engvall, again, to be making $550,000 more than league minimum, which is 700K, I don't think that he's the best option there right out of the gate. He's going to have to earn it.
I mean, that's fair to say. So for now, I have him buried in the minors, and we'll have to see whether or not he makes his way back up to the Leafs. So right now, this is what the Leafs team would look like if you removed Engvall, Janssen, and Kerfoot. So
Okay, just for my OCD, let's clear out a couple of these defensemen here.
Marinson is a scratch.
Fire him out into the sun.
So he's
wherever.
going down.
Gone.
Rosen's probably a scratch, to be fair.
Hamza, we're gonna revisit Kerfoot. Trust me.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna revisit.
We're gonna have an argument about it in a little bit.
I don't know, man. Dude, my opinion changes every day on that front. I have no idea what they're gonna do there. But okay, so let's just look at some options that they have non-roster, just to give it a little bit of context of what they have on their non-roster here. Okay, so they've got Patan. He's probably never gonna see the ice. They've got Augustino. Maybe he gets a couple games. I don't know. Dargan Shinsev is not. Korshkov, that's an interesting option. He's got a little bit of grit.
I really liked him, and I think that he could be a guy to like revitalize that power play 2 unit because you can just park him in front of the net. He's an absolute unit. He's just a fridge out there, and I don't know. I really like Igor Korshkov. He's not on my team to start next season, but he's definitely my second or third call up if there are some injuries.
Yeah. I would consider him as well. The rest of these guys, I mean, Engvall's the guy that you would think has got the chance to be their extra, I guess, or making the team. So I mean, just to put somebody there, you kind of have to put Patan as a scratch because I mean the guy's just been ragdolled by the Leafs a little bit. So for now, because we might have options coming in here that could push him back down.
Well, let's bring up Timothy Liljegren as well.
All right, so we're gonna be bringing up Timothy Liljegren into that blue line. So Here's where this gets interesting. If the Leafs want to roll with something like this and add one defenseman, they can. They have the significant cap space to fill these holes while also getting a guy there. So
Well,
let's
there's Travis Dermott to consider.
see. That's where I was gonna go next. Are we keeping Travis Dermott?
I mean, man, Travis Dermott, he had the opportunity of a lifetime this year to start the season with Mike Babcock and then to get back into it with Sheldon Keefe. And then with all the injuries that the blue line had, he had every opportunity in the world. And he's just been really stagnant. I think he hasn't really developed much offensively. I think that he is a decent option 5-on-5. I mean, he's got a couple of brain farts every once in a while, but he's really, really strong on his edges. He's really good at breaking the puck out of his own zone. He's really good at gaining the other team's zone and dishing the puck out to our forwards and creating offense on the fly like that. I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on Travis Dermott yet, and I think that we can get him for pretty cheap for
So
next season.
so do you have him at like 2 million?
Evolving Wild on Twitter, or Evolving Hockey, has this cool contract projection tool, and they're projecting Travis Dermott based on their advanced analytics and their advanced metrics and past comparables and whatnot to sign a $1.8 million deal for 2 seasons. And if we can get him at 1.8 million bucks a season, uh, yeah, I don't think that you're gonna be able to find guys better than Travis Dermott for that price.
I'm gonna put it at 2 because I think that that's not gonna happen. I can't see how they get him at 1.8. I think it's gonna be $2 million minimum. Like I think it's gonna end up being more than that.
Is it a 2 for 2 special then? 2 years
Yeah,
or 1 year?
two for
Two
two.
years.
I think that that's giving a little while the player also having to give a little at the same time because technically he could do a prove yourself contract and then it could cost the Leafs more money the following year. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna sign him to that 2 year deal, 2 million a season. Now I want to address a comment here. Justin saying Nylander to the Rangers for a first round pick, a B grade defensive prospect, a second round pick, and an NHL bottom line defender. No, the Leafs don't have time to wait for a B per level prospect defender. They need a guy that's going to be able to come in there right away, but Nylander also isn't getting traded. So,
I mean, I'm open to trading William Nylander, just not for that. And I think that we're working under the stipulations here that we're going to try to keep the core four together. And then as we move through making this armchair GM, we might have to make a sacrifice,
yeah.
right? But right now, in the early stages of building this, uh, no, not right now. It's not into the question. And we can have a later conversation and a later debate about that when the time maybe comes. But for now, no.
Yeah, no, honestly, I can't even see how that would make sense, especially if they can have that number right there. Anywhere between 5 to 7 million in cap space to fill these holes, the Leafs are going to do that all day long. They don't need to go out there and trade one of their big four.
So with Travis Dermott, are we having him on the left side or the right side?
I was going to say the right because here's the problem though. This is not going to work. This doesn't work for me. This lineup right here screams first round exit.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
So
it does.
so okay, you're getting Sandine who's taking a step. And first of all, these pairings, like how does this work? Are you doing it
Move
like this?
just move Jake Muzzin up. Jake Muzzin, Justin Hole, first pair for the Leafs.
Okay. I mean, I agree that's their first pairing. That's their two best defensemen defensively. Um so you've got this as your blue line. That's not going to cut it.
No, nowhere
So
close to it.
let's leave this for now, okay? Because we're going to make trades here. This is going to happen. They're moving one of these guys. It has to happen. Um your goaltenders are set.
Mm-hmm.
This is what needs to happen. Freddie needs to play better, which is not a lot to ask considering he should be playing better. He was playing like an AHL goaltender for the last couple months of the season. So if the Leafs get Freddie Anderson to play at a 905 between that and 910 like you were saying, then they're fine.
Andrew, I'm smiling here because do you want me to hit the stream with some stats?
Yes, I do.
So from January 1st onwards, Frederick Anderson at 5-on-5. So this is not factoring in his save percentage on the penalty kill. At 5-on-5, Frederick Anderson had a save percentage of 897. Michael Hutchison had a save percentage from January 1st onwards of 914 at 5-on-5. And Jack Campbell was somewhere around 924 or 928. We don't need Frederick Anderson to be the 928 or the 924. We don't need Frederick Anderson to be the 914. Bro, just give me a 910 at 5-on-5. That's not even that good. 910. 910 is so much better than 897. And the defense does play a part in that. But come on.
Yeah,
897? No. 897?
He's brutal. I mean,
that's garbage. Terrible. That's garbage.
It's terrible. But we have to consider with a better blue line, maybe the confidence goes up. But
sure,
he still should have been playing better than that. I mean, a 905 would have been fine. Like
yeah.
So
905 and the Leafs are laughing.
Also, people are already commenting Liljegren won't play on a regular basis. Trust me, we're getting to Liljegren. This isn't set in stone, guys. Lots of moving pieces. Trust me. We're probably going to disagree on some stuff coming up here.
Let me tell you, my friend, I think you would love my definitive armchair GM video that I made a couple of days ago.
This is what I'm saying. Okay, the goalies are set. This is pretty much the guys that are, I think, except for Robertson, because we don't know what he's going to be like. Pretty much everybody here is locked in. I mean, Spezza's coming back. It's guaranteed he's coming back.
Yeah, probably about 90-95%. Spezza's coming back.
We also heard Fat Sexy Canadian, what's good, bro?
Kyle's here?
Yeah.
What's up, Kyle?
Anyways, somebody said trade Hall over Dermott. No, I'm not doing that.
I can be swayed.
No, I'm not doing that. The way that Hall played,
I could be swayed.
The only reason why some people had Hall in like their maybe book towards the end of the year was because he was playing way out of where he was supposed to. Like,
he was also sick. Like, the whole team had the flu. And
yeah,
stuff like that.
You have to remember, Hall got put into a lot of positions that he shouldn't have been in when the Leafs were very, very, very depleted on their blue line. Like, Hall was.
We're getting to Mikheyev.
Hall was playing way too much. All right, so we have to get to Mikheyev because everybody's asking about it. They're clicking onto the stream and they're
Let's get the suit man here. Let's get to him.
So this is where it gets interesting. Is it a 1 or 2 year deal?
Whether it's a 1 or 2 year deal, he's still going to be an RFA at the end of a 2-year deal because of his birthday. He's born in October. And he's 25, going to be 26 at the start of the season. You need to be 27 in order to be a UFA or 7 years in the NHL. So he's going to be an RFA whether you sign a 1 or a 2-year deal, and that does affect the contract tremendously. And also, Ilya Mikheyev, Alexander Barabanov, Dan Milstein are both their agents. And I've been saying in a couple of my videos now, I think it's a scenario of, hey, you sign my other client that's coming over from the KHL, you give him some NHL games, I'll scratch your back with my other client that's already on your team right now, and I'll try to get you a little bit of a better deal out here.
Right.
So I think that Ilya Mikheyev is going to sign for a reasonable rate. A 2-year deal, I mean, he's probably going to want around $2.5 million on a 2-year deal, and I don't think that the Leafs can afford that.
So we're going 1.
We're going 1. I mean, he only played about 30 games, and here's the thing about Mikheyev. I love him. Absolutely love him. Huge fan. But if you look at the type of player that he is, he doesn't have the greatest shot. He's not the greatest playmaker, but he's really hungry along the boards for the puck. Mm-hmm. He's a really good skater, but those are not traits that you normally pay a lot of money for. You need them on your team, but you're paying for that playmaking, you're paying for that shot, and Mikheyev doesn't have it. So I don't think that he makes a significant amount of money here. Let's go $2 million 1 year.
Wow, you think it's going to be $1 million? I think, for argument's sake,
$2 million, Andrew.
Oh, you said $2 million.
$2 million.
Okay, you said 1.
Did I really?
Yeah, you said 1.
Oh.
Or else I'm just tripping. So $2 million for 1 year. I mean, that's what I was gonna go for. Somebody said stop overpaying Russians. Stop categorizing players by their nationality. How about that?
Nikita Zaitsev is in his own tier.
Yeah. um, Mikheyev is better than Engvall, so 1.5. Well, no, he's probably going to get.
Wait, hold on a second. Don't hit sign just yet. Did you already hit sign?
Yeah, I did, but I can edit it.
Okay, let's edit it in.
Wait, how do you revert something?
Just go to delete sign player and then let's just sign him again. Let's meet in the middle.
1.8.
Let's compromise here. Let's go 1.75.
Okay, we're gonna go 1.75.
Let's hit him with 1 3/4. He said 2. The stream's on my side, Andrew. You see that?
Who cares? 1.7. Okay. Also, there's another comment here. Not signing Clifford.
We'll get to Clifford's gonna be the last guy that you add into this roster. He's not the most. He's essential, but he's not the most important guy here. We're gonna have a conversation about it.
We also got a comment saying Thornton is not signing with the Leafs if we have Spezza as well. We can't have two slow dinosaurs. Okay, Joe Thornton and Spezza are not slow dinosaurs. Also, Jason Spezza was better than like half the roster for most of this year. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about there. Spezza played really damn good.
Man, there was a game where Jason Spezza just walked in over the blue line and absolutely lasered a slap shot over top the goalie's shoulder. And it's just like he turned back the clock there. I believe that was in a game against the Ducks. Like he was seeing full 2007. That was 2007 Jason Spezza. He was like, is this the Stanley Cup Finals? Where's Alfredson? Where's Heatley? Where is everyone?
Yeah.
And he just absolutely lasered one.
Okay, so we also got a comment saying, I think the Leafs want him longer, $3 million, 3 years. That's not going to happen. Why? Because the Leafs can't afford to do it. The Leafs are very tight to the cap. They can't afford to give him $3 million over 3 years. Ilya Mikheyev might not be a Maple Leaf after this season. So
it's going to be really tough. I mean, I want Superman here forever, but it's just, I don't know. I can't see it. It's going to be really tough.
So this is where it gets interesting. Do we bring Engvall back up? Do you give him that fourth line spot?
Sure, let's do it.
So we're going to put Engvall right back on the fourth line. Now, this is where it's a choose. Okay, so all the rest of these RFAs, I'm pretty sure none of these guys are options. Now, Freddie the GOAT. This is another interesting one. Is this depth? Are you signing GOAT for depth or what?
GOAT, I mean, I go back and forth with GOAT. Everyone either hates him or loves one after he just absolutely cranks one from the slot, and you're just like, he could do that. But I mean, for this season, he's taken the second most defensive zone draws for Sheldon Keefe in the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it's just like people are screaming for him to be benched in the playoffs. It's like, from a coach's perspective, you're not benching the guy in the playoffs that's taken the second most defensive zone draws for you all season long, unless you get someone else in there that's that reliable. So for me, I don't think no, Andrew, $700,000. We're not giving these guys, we're not making compromises for Freddie the GOAT. I love him.
All right.
He's great at video games. He fits in on the team. He's weird. He's huge. Everything about him is awesome.
So he's $700K for 1 year for the GOAT. Now that knocks Patan down.
And I'm cool with that.
And then you put GOAT as your scratch. Honestly, Rosen and GOAT as the scratches, I'm cool with that. Rosen and GOAT?
We might knock Rosen down, right? Because we're gonna try to upgrade that defense a little bit better.
Right. Now, but here's the thing. One of these guys are going. In my eyes.
One of those 6 defensemen?
Yeah, I think one of those guys are moving. Now, this is where we also need to find trade partners for these two, and that's where it's gonna get pretty fun. But this forward group, Kyle Clifford is the next guy we got to talk about because everybody's wanting us to talk about it. He's been mentioned more than Austin Matthews in this stream for some reason, and we got to talk about him. Is Clifford your guy for that spot?
Oh God, this really lends itself to the video that I made on my channel yesterday. Cough, cough. Link in the description.
Yeah,
but
guys, go
right
seriously.
now.
I'm not even joking. Like after this, go and watch his videos. If you don't want to hear me, it's okay. Like I get it. go and watch his videos after the stream is done, because I mean, he's right on a lot of things.
Talking about team toughness. I referenced the 03-04 team when talking about team toughness because that team had a lot of tough SOBs on that team. Gary Roberts, Darcy Tucker, Ty Domi. I mean, Gary Roberts had a career-ending injury with like a plate in his neck or a steel rod or something like that, or he broke his neck, something like that. Played another 6-7 years after that. Was an absolute. Well, I mean, everyone knows Gary Roberts and his reputation. Ty Domi, everyone knows that he's got his couple of screws loose. And Darcy Tucker fought the whole Ottawa bench one playoff series. So it's just like when you're talking about team toughness, those are guys that you want on your team. But it's just like when I'm comparing those three guys to Kyle Clifford's not Gary Roberts. Kyle Clifford's not Darcy Tucker. I don't even know if Kyle Clifford is Ty Domi.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to call Ty Domi a goon, but guy scored 13, 15 goals a couple of years and was consistently around 20 points a year. You look at Kyle Clifford, not that. He's just not that.
So this is where it's different. A lot of people are going to say, oh, just he'll have to take a hometown discount, when in reality, if he wants to go somewhere else, he won't have to take a discount. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to want that tough side of him, and they're going to see what a guy like Clifford did for Kapanen. I mean, it seemed to boost Kapanen's spirits a little bit and turn him into a little bit of a rough around the edges type of guy. So this is where it gets interesting. You're not getting Clifford for less than $1 million. In my eyes, there's no way. He was making $1.6 million last year. So he might be looking for that raise now, but the Leafs can't do that.
No. Kyle Clifford can easily go make $2.5 million playing for the Ottawa Senators. If he wants to do it, go be my guest. You want to lose? Go lose. You want to play on a contending team? A contending team can only pay Kyle Clifford about $1 million, $1.25 million. $1.25 million, absolutely max, and I'm being generous there.
I'm saying honestly, 1.2 is the cap hit for Clifford at 1 year. I don't think they can.
Andrew, no. This is. I'm gonna argue with you over $200,000 here because I'm not doing it. So I put my foot down with it when I made the video talking about that rumor where he might get $2 million over 3 seasons. No. We made so many scroll down so everyone can see the armchair GM when I'm making this point here. We got taken to the absolute cleaners by Austin Matthews, William Nylander, and Mitch Marner. Willie's contract looking like a bit of a steal right now.
Yeah.
Mitch Marner performing adequately, but you would like him to be a little bit better than that. Austin Matthews is Austin Matthews. Poppy, he's got that tiger tattoo coming down his arm. Maybe he's the real Tiger King. He's got that little bit of action going on there. 47 or 48 goals on the season, whatever. You pay him whatever the hell he wants. But we made compromises with those players, but we are not making compromises with someone from Ayr, Ontario. We're not making compromises with someone that plays on the fourth line. Yeah. We're not making compromises for Kyle Clifford.
Dude,
$1 million or he can walk.
Dude, honestly, here's the thing. I put 1.2 just to be fair. To be honest with you, I wouldn't even want to pay him $1 million just based off of what I think. But I mean, people are not going to agree with that.
Okay, let's be a little bit reasonable.
No, here I want to be reasonable. That's why I said 1.2. But if I'm making the Leafs team, there's better options that they can fill there. But I know that they need that toughness element. I know that they need it.
They do. But is there a different element? Because I mean, what does being tough even mean? Like, what's your definition of toughness?
Well, I agree with what you said in your video about mental toughness, and that's part of being a hockey player is you have to have mental toughness. Some players have it, some players don't. Clifford knows what his job is. Clifford knows what he's there to do, and he does it. I mean, the guy just goes out there and hits people. If he has to fight, he fights, and he can put up a few points here and there. But other than that, I mean, it's not like this guy is going to get a big raise. Like, I just can't see how that would work in Toronto. Maybe he goes somewhere else to be a veteran presence and gets paid a little bit more. But for the Leafs...
Go lose.
Yeah, that's the thing. If Clifford came here knowing that he's a big Leaf guy, he wanted to be here, he's a Leaf fan, and, like, he must know if Dubas is looking at him and going, man, we think this is the year that we are going to put our chips in. We're going to try to make this team as good as possible, but we need you to buy in. We need you to buy in. Because if you win here, you're going to be a fan favorite because of the way he plays, and you never know where that could take him. Not saying he's going to turn into some big money contract, but you never know where that could take him.
Someone in the chat saying maybe he will be like Spezza or Thornton and take league min. I don't think that happens just because Thornton and Spezza has made their money. They've made their money. They can make that compromise. Kyle Clifford, he signed a decent decent contract with the Kings. I believe his last contract was like 1.625 million each year for like 4 seasons or something like that. But
I think we signed this deal.
I don't think that he makes the same compromises as Spezza and Thornton.
I think we signed this 1 year, $1 million deal. I think it's a very strong possibility that he takes a bit of a haircut knowing that this could be his chance to win. And then the next season he can go in somewhere else if he wants, or he can literally just stay in Toronto. I mean, he's got family here. I would almost be surprised if he left, if they offered him this much money.
I mean, people are kind of bringing it up in the chat. League min, Patrick Marleau. Are you bringing Patty back?
No. Because he won't come back.
Is he just too old? He won't come back?
No, I don't think he comes back. His family's bounced around, dude. There's no way. There's no way.
I mean, he sold his home in Toronto when he did leave here. His wife was posting pictures of him in a Penguins jersey when he was a little boy. San Jose traded him away. I mean, I would love Patty back. I mean, people want to talk about accountability and the players owning up to it and whatnot. I don't think that Patty's letting that slide in the locker room, but
no, because the thing is, though, is it's like people like Dubas too. I don't think that they have Marleau in the plans. Now, people are saying 1.5 and up for Clifford.
1.5, guys. Are you really gonna?
No, we're signing him at 1 million. The deal's signed.
Yes,
guys, they can't pay him more than $1 million. If they do that, then no, like it's not. No, sorry, it's just not going to work. They have to give him that. That's it. That's all they can afford to give him. So
we're gonna get to the end of this, and we're gonna have a big conversation about this team because there are some compromises with this team, and we're gonna need to talk about them.
Yeah, it's true.
But I mean, $1 million is the most that you could pay him, and trust me, we're gonna get into it, and you're gonna see $1 million is the most that they can pay him.
So this is where the lineup would stand with the forwards. This would be your forward group. Now, I mean, you're probably doing this. So
I would even flip Engvall up one. Like those guys can rotate.
Yeah, so you can choose. You can choose which one. I would honestly rather this, just based off of this connection, Spezza and Robertson. That's
Clifford
what
laughs
I want
at that
to see.
offer and leaves. Then he can walk. He can go lose somewhere.
Yeah, he can. He can go somewhere else. And by the way, guys, Engvall at center, that's not a big surprise. He's played there before.
He played there all season long for the Marlies. He's come up. He's played third line center for the Leafs. He's played fourth line center for the Leafs. He could do it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People are saying he doesn't have to sign it, whatever. Yeah, that's the point. They don't have to sign him at that number, and they could put anybody else.
They don't
there.
need. We can go out and get another Kyle Clifford.
Yeah, exactly.
We could trade for that at the deadline. You don't need. We're not itching to get Kyle Clifford in here. You're not. He played 9 minutes a night for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You're really good. 9 minutes a night is worth $1.5 million.
Yeah, no, it's not.
3 points in 16 games. No.
All right, it's trade time. This is where it gets a little. This is where it gets a little more interesting.
Okay.
The phones are ringing. All right.
Phones are ringing. I got mine right here.
Yeah, the phones are ringing. Okay. It's the Anaheim Ducks calling.
It's the Anaheim Ducks. Okay, Bob Murray's on the phone.
I've already seen in the comments somebody saying that Manson is overrated and that we should not be going for him. Now, first off, I'd like to say no. Manson, his advanced analytics show that he is physical and plays good defense. So, in a perfect world, you're getting Manson. Is that a possibility for the Leafs? Do you think there is a package that the Leafs can offer the Ducks that gets them Josh Manson? Because I think there is. And you will not agree with it.
No, we're going to argue about this one. But the package has to start with Timothy Liljegren or the Ducks are laughing you off the other end of the phone.
And guess who's going to start that package?
Timothy Liljegren. You're really going to do it.
Yeah, I am. Okay,
You're really gonna do
I'm
it.
gonna explain this to you, and you're definitely not. Well, you might agree with me. I don't know. I'm looking at the camera. Okay, this is for the chat. The Leafs window closed a little bit with this virus, based off the fact that the cap is not going to go up in the next 2 to 3 years, which hurts because the Leafs are going to have to find money for certain players. You're going to see some fan favorites go. That's just how it is. And it's going to hurt bad because the cap is not going up and the Leafs have guys that are going to get big contracts. Morgan Rielly, hello, $8 million.
Yep, close to
Freddie Anderson, hello, $7 million with another team because it won't be Toronto.
Probably with another team.
So the Leafs are going to have to move some pieces around. And this is where it starts. Okay? This year, the Leafs have to go. They have to do it. They have to, like this upcoming next season, the Leafs have to go all in my opinion. And all in doesn't mean you have to trade too much, but you can trade enough that you can hold on. Like, guys, a guy like Josh Manson might end up being Morgan Rielly's replacement.
No,
Within 2 years.
And okay. Relax, but there's too much blue in your room. It's getting to you.
Okay, tell me how the Leafs are able to keep Jake Muzzin, acquire a defenseman, and Morgan Rielly.
In 2 years from now or right now?
In 2 years.
2 years from now is 2 years from now, right?
Okay, but who are you moving?
I didn't like everything that Lou Lamoriello said, but one thing that he did say was that if you have time, use it. That's a 2 year from now problem. I don't think that Josh Manson is the answer here just because I don't think that the Ducks give him up. And if the Ducks do give him up, I don't think you're satisfied with that package. I think that you're giving up Timothy Liljegren plus a first, plus something else, and plus something else on top of that. And I can't live with that. Honestly, I can't. I can't do it, Andrew.
Well, Morgan Rielly is going to command $7 million. So which out of Nylander, Tavares, Matthews, or Marner gets traded then?
It's a 2 year from now problem. We'll figure it out then. We can move some money around. We can make it happen. Anderson's going to be coming off the books. Maybe we get a rookie goalie in. Maybe they trade for another goalie. You never know.
Roger underscore 985. No, the cap will not be at 87 million in 2 years. The Leafs and the rest of the league will have a flat cap at 81.5, probably for the next 2 years.
It's going to be tough. It's not going to go up very much. But player salaries are also going to have to reflect in that. So maybe Morgan Rielly doesn't get the raise that you think that he might get. And I also think, if any one of these people here on the screen right now are going to take a hometown discount, never mind Kyle Clifford, never mind the core four guys, Morgan Rielly's going to be the guy that's going to take that hometown discount. You know why? Because Mo's our boy. I love Mo.
Well, that's what I want to
Awesome
believe.
guy.
That's what I want to believe, but when he sees the dollar bills that come in front of him from other teams, he might not be willing to take that discount. So, okay, so there's options in this that I've seen that people are saying, now the Minnesota Wild could be an interesting trade partner, but not for Matt Dumba. Guys, we need to tell you this right now. Let's have a heart-to-heart. We need to talk about this, okay? Matt Dumba is not good defensively. He's not. He's not good. Matt Dumba, no. Hell no. Please, never talk about him again. I love Matt Dumba as a player, but not on my team. He's just another Tyson Barrie. If you guys want Tyson Barrie back, we can just put him right back on there. Because that's what Matt Dumba is. He hits a few extra people, but then he's on injured reserve for 20 games. So, no, that's definitely not happening. Brodin is interesting, but he's getting paid a lot of money.
Brodin's probably one of the better defensive defensemen in the NHL. Severely underrated. I don't think Minnesota lets him go. Minnesota's a weird team.
Yeah,
I don't know.
They're a weird team.
I don't really understand them.
Dumba's not too expensive. He's just not good. That's
$6 million would be a hard to fit under this cap with the Leafs.
Spurgeon.
It'd be hard.
Spurgeon's getting paid a lot of money. The Leafs couldn't afford that.
Way too much money. No, they can't afford that $7.5 million.
Guys, the Leafs amount of money that they can spend on a defenseman is the number that you're seeing on the screen. It's like 3.4 million, maybe 4 million if we make another trade here.
Well, that gets into the conversation. Do you move out a Justin Holl or a Travis Dermott? Because you said that one of those 6 guys have to come out, right?
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. If you move one of these guys out, then the conversation opens up a little bit. Then you have an opportunity to get a guy. People are saying Hampus Lindholm. No, Hampus Lindholm also is another offensively gifted guy. That doesn't make a lot of sense. People are saying Johnson and 2 seconds and a third for Ristolainen and Colin Miller. Please, no.
Yeah,
No.
no. I mean, if there's one way that we can honor Nazem Kadri in Toronto, it's not by trading. It's by not trading for Rasmus Ristolainen.
Yeah, Colin Miller, guys, is not good. I'm sorry.
TJ Brody, he put Toronto on his no trade list. I made that mistake in my video that I talked about him in. Toronto's on his no trade list right now, so I doubt he signs here as a UFA.
Yeah, no, TJ Brody's not coming to Toronto. He does not want to come to Toronto. He's made that clear. He's not coming here. Also, we've seen Pietrangelo. No, Pietrangelo apparently also is not interested in Toronto, and he would demand way too much money.
That's going to be $9 million under a flat cap, or close to $8.5 million.
Montour, no, Montour fell off a little bit for me.
You can get someone else can quote Nazem Kadri on what we think of Brandon Montour.
Murphy from the Blackhawks.
I made that video about Connor Murphy and what the Blackhawks are doing with their cap situation, but Stan Bowman is a weird guy. He's a weird guy. And I don't know what he's doing. I don't know who he's trading. I don't know how he's going to afford to sign Dylan Strome, Dominic Kubalik, Corey Crawford, and Drake Caggiula, or Jujar Kara, whichever one they are. I always get those two mixed up. I'm sorry. I'm pretty sure it's Drake Caggiula. But I don't know what he's going to do there. I don't think they end up trading Connor Murphy, but he would be a perfect fit in Toronto. He would be perfect.
See, but when I look at this roster and then I just see Murphy there instead of one of those guys, I don't say, wow, the Leafs got substantially better.
Then I think that you're underrating Connor Murphy.
Dude,
that guy is an excellent defensive defenseman.
Oh, okay, dude, I think he is too. I know how good he is, but I'm not convinced that one guy fixes that blue line.
But are we fixing this blue line? Like, are we expecting the Toronto blue line to be anything best case scenario, league average? Like, is that good enough? League average. Because right now, this is probably in the bottom 10 in the entire league. This is mediocre at best.
Yeah, and also people are saying Brett Pesce. If Carolina trades him, I'll eat a hat.
Gardner return? Oh, we're not. No, that's a whole nother stream for a whole nother day.
I love Gardner, but it's not for this blue line. No, Carolina's not trading Brett Pesce. It's not happening. I will eat a hat on video if Brett Pesce comes to Toronto. It's not happening. That guy is going to be a Carolina Hurricane his whole career. Like, the guy is too good. He's going to stay there. Carolina wants to be good. They don't want to trade away that defenseman. Why would the New York Rangers trade away two of their players that are helping them rebuild for picks? That's not happening. They're not trading Fox or D'Angelo.
Probably not.
Byfuglien, no.
No, okay.
No, I want him.
We're not skipping that one.
I want Byfuglien.
Because I think it's really interesting.
I want Byfuglien. I don't think he's playing another game.
You don't think he's playing another game?
I think he's retired. Done. No.
You think he's retired? Done. Well, if Dustin Byfuglien is not done, we're going to get into this conversation right now. I would love to have Dustin Byfuglien.
Oh, me too.
Can we get Dion back? Andrew,
Stop. We're not talking
about
Dion.
You remember that video idea that I was talking about, right?
I love Dion Phaneuf. Great person. If you guys haven't heard stories about Dion and how he treats his teammates, he's a very good teammate. I'm not getting him back on this blue line. Sorry.
That's a video for another day.
Mackenzie Weegar, people are saying.
But wait, hold on. Let's get back to Dustin Byfuglien, because I think Dustin Byfuglien fills a need for the Toronto Maple Leafs, or a Dustin Byfuglien type, because we saw the Leafs flip-flop Tyson Barrie and Mitch Marner on the power play unit later on in the season because they wanted to get a second shot option on that number one power play unit so that people aren't just focusing in on Austin Matthews, and that can give Austin Matthews a little bit more time and space. Dustin Byfuglien might not be in the greatest of shape. He might not be able to skate so well, but I bet you he could still bomb it from the circle.
Yeah. I'd love Big Buff on the Leafs. Like, it's just, how do you make that work? I don't know. Like, if your big move in the offseason is just Dustin Byfuglien and then he just turns around and is just terrible, the Leafs look like complete idiots. let's explore the Murphy trade. I think we got to do it. Let's explore the Murphy trade.
We got to do it.
Let's do it. I'm saying right now, let's go for it. Let's see what happens. All right, we're gonna try to trade for a player. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna select a team, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, Chicago's in that weird, like, what are we gonna do? Period. You know. So it could be a trade to be made, especially if the Leafs overpay a little bit, which they might have to just to pry him out of there. All right, he's making 3.8.
By the way, just so that everyone knows, I'm not 100% serious about Dustin Byfuglien. He'd be an absolute tragedy playing defense.
Yeah.
But but that would be interesting on the power play.
All right, let's trade for Murphy. So where does that trade start with?
I mean, the Chicago Black. How big of a trade do you want this to be?
Well, no, what's his value? Because to me, I think you can insert Andreas Johnsson to that trade. I think there's value that they would want to try him out on that team, bring in more scoring. Look what they've done with a guy like Strome.
Strome was the guy that I was just about to highlight because they're looking to maybe trade him. And if you're not confident in Alexander Kerfoot, which I am, I have Alexander Kerfoot on my team. I go back and forth about it. Right now, I got him on my team. But if the Blackhawks are serious about trading away Dylan Strome, they're going to need someone else to play center there. And I guess you can start with Kerfoot.
All right.
I don't know.
You want to throw Kerfoot into that trade?
See, but I don't even know if you start with Kerfoot. Like, this is, I mean, it's got to start with Liljegren.
You think Liljegren's in that trade too?
He's got to be. I mean, what Connor Murphy's a defenseman. He's making $3.85 million for the next 2 seasons or a season after this.
Okay, but why?
His contract is absolutely insane. It's amazing value. That's where most of his trade value comes from.
So
is his contract.
So what about putting Abramov in that deal?
I mean, Mikhail Abramov, he's a guy that plays in the Quebec Major Junior League. He plays for the Victoriaville Tigers. He's absolutely dominating his team. If you're comparing him to the players drafted in his draft year, he's a top 30, top 40 point producer this year. In terms of all of those guys, the Maple Leafs got him at an absolute steal. He's one of the more underrated prospects going around right now. I don't know if I would include him in a deal, but I also don't think he has very much trade value because, like I said, he's kind of underrated.
All right, so then this deal starts with Timothy Liljegren, or do you start with Travis Dermott?
Dermott, I don't think he has much trade value.
So Liljegren's in this trade.
But like I said, how big of a trade do you want this to be?
I don't see why Strome would come to Toronto too. Like, I don't understand how that trade would work.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I don't know how much money he would even to command.
Yeah, he's gonna command close to Kerfoot's salary.
Probably. So I
mean, what's
really
the point?
It's just a different player.
Yeah, that's what I
guess.
mean.
I guess not. I guess not. No.
So it starts with Liljegren. Lucas Natereno says Liljegren for Murphy. Hell no.
I don't, because it's just hard. Connor Murphy, the player Connor Murphy, just the guy on the ice, is not worth Liljegren, but you have to factor in his contract too. I don't think that the Blackhawks are not in a position where they have to trade this player away. They're not. They're just not. So unless you wow them, you're not getting him. Although maybe I'm overrating him. Maybe
people are saying that Dubas would get fired for making this trade.
No, okay, come on. I don't think he would get fired for making. Okay, well, I mean, okay, fine. You don't like Liljegren for Murphy. Let's talk Kerfoot then.
So, then we're including at least a first-round pick into this trade. If you're only giving up Kerfoot, then you're 100% putting a first-round pick. So let's make this deal bigger then. Let's put Strome in the deal. Let's see where this goes.
Are we putting Strome in the deal?
Yeah.
Because then
everybody seems to think he should be in this deal, and they've made it clear that he is gonna get. They think he's on the trade block. So
he definitely is on the trade block, but I mean, I don't know how much money he's gonna command. I like him, but it's just like I don't really know. I don't know.
People are saying Severson might be a better option.
No way the Devils trade Severson. No way. I tried to do it in NHL 20 and they laughed me out of the room. All right, I can't even get him in the video game. You're not getting him in real life.
Yeah, I don't think I was gonna say I don't really know if that's gonna work either. Like, you guys got to remember the Devils aren't as far away from being good as people think. Like, they got really bad goaltending and had a couple guys just play not as good as they should have. And if they make a couple improvements there, they might be a better team in a couple years.
Murphy would 100% improve the defense. He's an awesome defensive defenseman, can chip in a little bit offensively, plays on the penalty kill as well. He's a right shot, throws a lot of hits, blocks a lot of shots. He's 100% the exact guy that you'd want on that blue line, and he's a guy that the Maple Leafs might be able to afford.
All right,
100%. That's why we're doing this.
Let's make this simple. We're taking Strome out of the deal. I can't see it. I do not understand why the Leafs would do that if they're clearing out Kerfoot's salary. Like, it doesn't make sense to me for them to go and then get a guy that they're going to pay the same amount.
But then what are you adding on top of
Kerfoot?
Kerfoot?
It's not going to be just that. I'm saying, like, what else? Like, I mean, at this point, you're including a first.
So I had an idea when I was talking about acquiring Connor Murphy is that if there are compliance buyouts, someone mentioned compliance buyouts earlier in the stream. This is for you. Compliance buyouts are interesting because the reason why they were awarded in the 12-13 season when we had that previous lockout was because the salary cap did not meet its initial projection. And the salary cap is not going to meet its initial projection again. So I think it's only a matter of time before the NHL announces that we will get compliance buyouts. If you look at the Chicago Blackhawks, Brent Seabrook, 100% day one compliance buyout used.
Yeah.
On Brent Seabrook. He's had a storied career. He's won 3 Stanley Cups. He's won a couple of gold medals, but he is done. They were healthy scratching him in Chicago.
Yeah.
They used their first compliance buyout on him in a heartbeat. The Chicago Blackhawks also have someone by the name of, is it Zack Smith? He played on the Ottawa Senators. Is Zack Smith there? Find him. Is he there?
Yeah, Zack Smith.
Zack Smith's making over $3 million next season.
Yeah.
And the way that the compliance buyouts worked is that teams were awarded one after the 12-13 season and then one after the 13-14 season. So that means that the Chicago Blackhawks would use their one on Brent Seabrook, and then they wouldn't be in a position to buy out a guy like Zack Smith. So this is where the Toronto Maple Leafs kind of flex their financial might and be that evil empire there. Put Zack Smith in that trade because the Leafs are using their compliance buyout on Zack Smith.
I love how you think, okay? Love how you think. People are saying PK Subban. No, please no. Guys, I love PK, but even at 50% retained, the Leafs can't afford that deal. The only way the Leafs can get Subban is if he's used on a compliance buyout and then just decides to take an absolute steal of a contract to play in Toronto to make a run at the Cup.
The Devils don't have the money to buy him out.
Yeah, so they're not going to do that. People are saying Savard from Columbus, I think. That's what you're going for. Savard is not going to get moved because Columbus played better than they were expected to this year, and he is a bona fide top 4 defenseman for them. I don't see how they would trade him.
It's just Columbus. They're weird. They're really, really weird. How do you drop Matt Duchene, Artemi Panarin, who's the other guy?
Bobrovsky,
and still be in a position to kind of almost sort of make the playoffs this year with Elvis Merzlikins?
Yeah, he looks good though.
With Elvis Merzlikins and Jonas Korpisalo in net, John Tortorella's really revitalized his career. I don't know what he's doing over there. I don't know what's in the water in Columbus, but it's an absolute freak show.
Yeah.
What they're doing.
People keep bringing up Carolina. The Leafs and Hurricanes are not going to help each other at this point. They're neck and neck with each other. There's no trade to be made there.
Guys, conspiracy theories and the Leafs trading for a defenseman from the Carolina Hurricanes. It's not happening.
Yeah.
It would have happened by now.
All right, let's get back to this trade. So, Kerfoot for Murphy and Smith is not going to work on the surface, just based off the fact that the Leafs are helping them out a little bit, but there still needs to be more because Murphy is still Connor Murphy, and he's going to help the Leafs blue line. So, I think now that we're taking Smith, a second round pick makes more sense. But that's not where the deal ends. That's not where the deal ends to me.
Probably not. Probably not.
So I'm including a second round pick. Now, it would
Okay.
be a first, in my opinion, if Zack Smith's not in that deal. It's a first round pick. And then you're.
How about this? We include our own condition here. If the Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup this season and Connor Murphy plays in 50% of the playoff games, you see that clause a couple of times. That second becomes a first because I don't care, right? If the Leafs win the Stanley Cup, take the first round pick. Take it.
No, there's
Right?
another option. Actually, we might not type in here just yet because we might not even make this deal because there's another guy here. Okay, why is people saying no, 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 don't make this trade? Guys, Leafs legacy.
This is an awesome trade.
Leafs
so far.
legacy. They are not getting Savard. They're not. I want Savard, but they're not getting him. They can't. The reason why is because Columbus needs him. Why is Columbus, a good team, going to help us when they need him? That doesn't make sense. We have nothing to give them that will replace him. That we don't. So that's not going to work. Whereas Chicago, they're in a different situation here. They in this situation need the Leafs to help them clear out more space so they can go after other players. So we're helping them essentially get more in a way. Like there's no way that we can make a deal for Savard with Columbus. It doesn't make sense unless you're giving them Liljegren and a first. That's where that deal is. Because Savard is gonna cost that because the Leafs are not gonna help Columbus. They already have cap space.
To just answer Psycho Dad Jesse's question, Dennis Cholowski, I can't. No way. Mike Lazowski. That's what we're calling him from Monsters Inc. I don't think that they trade him. He's a young player for the Red Wings, and I don't think they have an interest in trading him. And Dougie Hamilton would have probably won the Norris Trophy if he didn't get injured this year.
Yeah. So right now it's Murphy and Smith from. And by the way, guys, if you're just coming in, Zack Smith would be the compliance buyout for the Maple Leafs.
Write it in.
So in this additional comments.
Yeah.
But we're blocking it. That's.
Oh, okay. We'll write it in the other side then. Leafs compliance buyout.
Oh yeah, compliance
buyout, Zack Smith.
Okay, that's it. Also, second turns to first if Leafs. Okay, so those are so far why we're making this deal. Okay. God, why would people say Tom? No offense, but I'm not going to even answer the Thomas Chabot question. So right now the deal is Kerfoot in a second for Murphy and Smith. The Leafs would buy out Smith. The second turns to a first if the Leafs win the Cup. Now, that's not enough. This is where one of these guys has to be included in the deal.
Wait, hold on. Are we thinking, are we on the same train of thought here? Are we thinking, because the Blackhawks are notoriously known for just having an island of misfit toys around Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane.
So are you saying Jeremy Bracco or are you saying Andreas Janssen?
I don't think the salary works for Andreas Janssen. It might. I don't know. I guess if you I don't know if Janssen makes sense in this deal, but I do think that Bracco does, just because I think the Blackhawks saw value in Alex Nylander, and they're getting something out of him.
So we're trading away player rights to Jeremy Bracco. Rights. So Bracco is now in this deal. So it's Bracco, Kerfoot, and a second round pick.
That turns into a first if the Leafs win the
Cup. I don't think that still works.
I don't think it's enough either.
Do you include another mid-round pick, like a pick from this year too? Like
just go ahead and throw like another, like a second or a third, maybe another one.
So a third. So the Leafs won't have a third-round pick for the next 2 years.
That's okay. I mean,
so
I don't know though. Like we're getting a little bit galaxy brainy with the deal right now, but
I don't think it's that far off. Like in terms of what the Leafs can do, and keep in mind this is only one option.
Right.
So we can trade for him, or we can just leave it like this and say, okay, this is what one of the options can be, because there's actually a guy. Guys, Tyson Berry's gone. He's not playing another game for the Leafs. They can't trade him. He's a free agent. He's gone.
He's been gone for a long time now.
And by the way, guys, Jeremy Bracco has almost no trade value. Like, his value is gone in my eyes.
He'd be kind of like a mid-round pick in this deal, and you'd also just be doing him a favor to give him a fresh start.
Yeah. Which he probably would do pretty decent. I mean,
Jeremy Bracco did break Patrick Kane's assist record in the U.S. National Development Program, so maybe the Blackhawks are interested in that. Maybe just pump up his stats a little bit.
Oh, this is a good point. Crimson Ravager says change second to next year because Clifford sends it to L.A. because they signed Clifford. So this deal can't. That second can't even be there.
Yep.
So now the Leafs don't have this pick. So now they won't have a pick in the second or third round, but they could probably acquire somebody. Like, they can probably acquire that pick somehow within another trade, or at least a third, maybe even pick up an extra fourth or something in the coming years. That's not too hard. Sometimes you can trade away a package of guys and get that. Or a package of picks to upgrade. People do that all the time. But would you trade for Drew Doughty if his trade wasn't ass? No.
Nope.
Because his contract is never going to be cheap enough for the Leafs to be there. Hot Take Hockey. Hey, guys. What's up? Shout out to Hot Take Hockey.
Hey, John.
I think it's likely the Leafs move on from Janssen or Kerfoot, and Bracco's value still exists, in my opinion, but is deteriorated big time this year. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we've been saying. It's just right now, to another team, there isn't really value. Like, the Leafs are essentially throwing him into a trade, because I don't think a lot of teams look at Bracco and think this guy's gonna kill it for our team. Like, I can't see that. Janssen or Kerfoot, I think it's both, but
Chris Johnson said 2 or 3.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of have to move on from 2 of them. So Is this a trade you're comfortable making? I got to bring it up before I forget. People are still bringing up Larson from Ottawa or from Edmonton.
I mean, we had this conversation the other day. I think you can almost get him for free from Edmonton, because if you look at their decor, they got guys like Evan Bouchard, Philip Broberg, Darnell Nurse, Ethan Bear.
But who's a better option for the Leafs, Murphy or Larson?
100% Murphy.
So then there's no point of even exploring that, in my eyes. Because, okay, Kerfoot is pretty much... Kerfoot and Bracco, I don't know if that's enough to get you Murphy, even with a third and a second round pick. I think there's still one more player that has to be added from this bunch.
This is a lot. This is a lot of quantity over quality right now.
What do you, in terms of what the Leafs are giving up?
Yeah, in terms of what the Leafs are giving up, especially if we add another thing in here.
With the 2 picks that one can turn into a first, and we're taking on Zack Smith to buy him out.
I mean, the Leafs did pay a first-round pick to give to dump Patrick Marleau's $6 million cap hit, so that Zach's taking on Zack Smith and using him as the compliance buyout is worth something. Okay, yeah, actually, you know what? I think that trade works the way that it is. I'm coming around.
Okay, I was gonna say throw in one other prospect, but I don't know what you're thinking there.
That's good. That's getting a little bit too much for me.
So because here's the thing. This is the way I look at it. You're essentially giving them an extra pick plus Jeremy Bracco, and yet we're also helping them. Mm-hmm. Like, we are essentially helping them at the same time. People are saying kind of overpayment, but guys, if you look at trades for defensemen, you have to a little bit, because they don't grow on trees.
The values in his contract.
Yeah, his contract is what the Leafs are going to be looking for. So if I think I'm making this trade. Take
Dylan Strome instead of Zack Smith. Dylan Strome has trade value. Zack Smith doesn't. Zack Smith has trade value the opposite way.
Just to explain it again, guys, the reason why we're saying Zack Smith, because there's people probably just joining in. Zack Smith would likely need to be bought out by the Chicago Blackhawks, but they're going to use their buyout if the NHL does in fact give the league, each team, one compliance buyout, which means it doesn't count against your cap. the Blackhawks are going to be using it on Seabrook, and they'll want additional cap space. They can go to the Leafs and say, hey, listen, we want some assets from you guys, but you're going to have to take Zack Smith as well. So, yeah, Smith is going to be bought out. I don't think people are understanding what we're doing here. Some people aren't understanding, but
Okay, let's just go ahead and make this trade.
I don't know why in the pit of my stomach I feel like we're actually not overpaying, but we're doing the trade. All right, so that would be the trade. We're going to tell you guys in full. Do you want to explain it this time? I was just talking for a long time. I don't want to just sit here and talk all day instead of you.
Explain what?
Explain why this trade is happening.
So with the compliance buyouts and everything?
Just explain the whole deal.
Okay, so the Chicago Blackhawks are sending over Connor Murphy, a right-handed shot, defensive defenseman who could chip in a little bit on offense, play on the penalty kill, has a really good contract at $3.85 million for another 2 or 3 seasons after this one. Andrew, I'm sure you'll correct me after this, but they're sending over Connor Murphy. Not really a guy that they want to give up, but a guy that was talked about before the trade deadline as a possible option for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Zack Smith. Zack Smith is in there because I think that the league is going to be awarding compliance buyouts. I think that they absolutely have to. Compliance buyouts were awarded after the 12-13 lockout because the salary cap did not meet its initial projection that year. And the cap is not going to meet its initial projection of the $84 to $88.3 million, what it was going to be this season, because it's going to be flat or maybe even a little bit lower. But Chris Johnson's saying that it's not going to be lower, more than likely going to be flat. So the league is going to be awarding compliance buyouts again. And the way that they were awarded is that teams were given one to use after the 12-13 season and one to use after the 13-14 season. The Blackhawks instantly, day one, buy out Brent Seabrook with one of their compliance buyouts, and then Zack Smith is absolute dead weight on their cap right now. So they're more than likely looking to move him out, and if they were to move him out, they got guys like Dylan Strome to re-sign if they don't trade him. They got guys like Dominic Kubalik to re-sign, a guy like Corey Crawford, guys like Drake Caggiula. You know, they're going to need some of that cap space in there to get those deals done and maybe even improve their team, because the window is closing with Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane, and they're going to get a centerman to replace Dylan Strome if they do want to trade him. Jeremy Bracco, kind of that island of misfit toys thing that Chicago always seems to, you know, have going on there. It's the same thing with the Pittsburgh Penguins. He got Angelo Smith, or whatever that guy's name was, that scored on the Leafs in the game that Pittsburgh absolutely embarrassed them in. There's just unknown wingers, unknown players all the time for those players. Jeremy Bracco is going to be another one of those guys I feel like just needs an opportunity somewhere else. And then third round pick and the second round pick. The second round pick turns into a first round pick if the Leafs do win the Stanley Cup. So we made this deal.
Yeah. People are saying Kerfoot's a bit overpaid. I mean, I don't really think so, but I think it makes sense. This deal does. So then this is what your team turns into, but for the sake of there not being a compliance buyout option here, there's just a buyout
LTIR
option. We're putting Zack Smith on LTIR. So now the Leafs cap space is negative 486. So
well, then that means we're gonna have to bump off Calle Rosen.
Yeah. So now Calle Rosen is down here, and your extra defenseman becomes Timothy Liljegren.
Yep. So move him down into the scratches.
Now
Connor Murphy with Morgan Riley.
Then that's your blue line.
And how much cap space do we have left over? Just scroll that up a little bit.
It's blocking
303,000 with 2 players on the bench.
Yeah.
I mean, this still gives us depth, right? There's still some depth there.
Yeah.
But not the best offensive depth. So I guess...
Is there another move to be made there? Because here's the thing, though. This is what we need to go into. People Hot Take Hockey thinks it could be a bit of an overpayment for Murphy.
It could, but that contract for Murphy is just so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, it is good. And especially since now you've got a healthy Jake Muzzin for a full season, hopefully. Justin Hall playing minutes with Jake Muzzin permanently instead of being bounced around and not playing with guys that he should be playing with and maybe playing in positions he shouldn't be playing in. Morgan Riley finally has a defense partner that's gonna help him. Like, Morgan Riley has a guy that can help him play the game properly. And then Rasmus Sandin and Dermott is basically like, all right, boys, go out there and just give her. You just let them fly, right?
Let him fly on the power play 2 unit. Just let him fly.
You just let them fly. And okay, this is where the offense I wanted to kind of say, first of all, I think this offense actually potentially has a chance to be better. Why? Because now
Really?
Here's the reason why. Okay, you still have Hyman, Matthews, Marner. You have Tavares, you have Nylander. You're going to get offense from those guys. And I love how Hyman's in that conversation now, but he definitely is. The guy just puts up points.
On pace for 33 goals in a full season this year.
That is a Andreas Janssen. Crap, we got to trade him.
Just anything.
Okay.
Anything.
See, this
really
is what I was
anything.
talking about. Now you get to recoup these picks. Right? So if you want to get a pick back for him, so now
a third and a fourth, a second.
All right, so we're gonna send him to the Oilers.
A third and a fifth.
Dude,
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I'm going a third and a fourth for Andreas Janssen.
Fine. I mean, it's just a matter of clearing out the cap space. I will take less back in terms of prospects and picks if you could clear out the cap space in full.
I think a third and a fourth actually is not an overpayment or an underpayment. I think that's probably where its value's at right now. It kind of sucks, but I mean, now the Leafs also have recouped some of those picks, which now it's not as bad. Like they're acquiring another draft choice that they can bundle together some picks to maybe even bump up to a third round pick. So now this is your team, right? You're getting, first of all, that's the space 303. Long-term injured reserve, avoid Zack Smith. He's gone. This is a compliance buyout with the trade from Chicago. Now, the offense. Get back to the offense here. Ilya Mikheyev.
I don't think it's as good.
I think it is. The reason why is because Mikheyev, it's put up or shut up for him too. He's got to put up some points. Not a ton, but he's got to at least be that grinder guy that can help chip in with some points. Nic Robertson is the wild card here. Let's say, what happens if Robertson comes in and scores 15 to 20 goals?
If Nic Robertson's a 20-goal scorer, the Maple Leafs are laughing.
That's what I mean. I'm going to be fair and say 15. But 15 is good.
His NHL expectancy has him around. So NHL expectancy is a stat that tries to assign an NHL point value in terms of players playing in other leagues. And Nic Robertson's NHL expectancy with the year that he had in the OHL with the Peterborough Petes is around 40 or so points in the NHL.
Which, I mean, Andreas Janssen was injured quite a bit. You're hoping Robertson can put up those numbers. And, I mean, guys, Kapanen looked way more aggressive towards the end of the year. If he's becoming that style of player, you're getting a bit more grit. You get a full season of Clifford, hopefully. More grit. You know, you're hoping that Barabanov can give you, 25 to 30 points? I mean, is that unfair to say?
20 points more realistically. Let's just set the expectations low for him.
Okay, so 20 points. I mean, that's not bad. Like, Pierre Engvall and Barabanov, to me, are upgrades over, a guy like Freddie the GOAT on that fourth line. And he's still on the team, but just as an extra guy. If Jason Spezza can give you 30 points this year, and who knows what happens if Robertson catches fire and scores you 20 goals, that's only going to improve Spezza's numbers as well. And maybe even Engvall, depending if you could swap it. Now, people are saying no Joe Thornton. That is an option, but are you really going to have Spezza and Thornton as your third and fourth line centers?
It's an option, but I also don't believe Joe when he says that he's done with San Jose.
Yeah.
I just don't believe him.
Tyler Bertuzzi would be a good fit. No, because Detroit's not trading him. Tyler Bertuzzi is a good hockey player. I actually was in his class. Me and him never talked, but he was in my class. I actually went to school with him, which is hilarious. I went to school with Fabry as well, and Garrett Sparks. He was older than me, but He was at the same school as me. We need Clifford, but if he wants more than 1.25, we get another different Clifford. Yeah, that's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
it says Kyle Clifford, but it could literally say, what do you always say, guy, or whatever, or like person?
Placeholder.
Placeholder.
I've reformed it.
Placeholder.
First name holder, last name place.
So yeah, this to me seems like a better team just based off the fact that your blue line actually looks better too. Like, you have to imagine too, Rasmus Sandin with a little bit more experience plays a little better as well, and you're hoping Travis Dermott is taking a step.
So okay, hot take hockey. You said something interesting. I think Dubas might look at a UFA option, like a Hamonic type. Depends on the price. Andrew, are we ready to get into a second option here? Because I don't think that offense is good enough. I don't think it's as good as this year. I like this team. I like it. If they were able to pull this off, I'd be happy with it. But people are saying it in the comments section. Dylan DeMello. We got to get into it.
DeMello?
I want him on this team.
Who's better, DeMello or Murphy?
See, here's the thing. Okay, let's revert the trade.
How do you revert
that we
the trade?
made with the, just scroll up and there should be a little option beside it. Let's just revert it.
Okay.
So revert trade.
So reverting the trade.
Go back and put Kerfoot on, or
Add
move
to trade?
Kerfoot. No. Move Kerfoot to the third center position.
Ooh, here we go. It's getting interesting.
So we're keeping Alexander Kerfoot now. Jason Spezza bumps him down to the fourth line spot there. Pierre Engvall, like I said, not 100% convinced with him that he makes this team. So we're going to bury him in the minors for now. And we're going to watch that cap space go up a little bit. I don't think that Frederick Gauthier comes back. I don't think so.
So
just,
Freddie
it's just a hunch. And I think the Leafs are going to have to be really creative with just having one guy as a healthy scratch. I think that you're not having two guys as a healthy scratch would be a luxury for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
So delete,
not a necessity.
Just
delete signed player.
Bye Freddie the Goat.
So now we're up to $2.4 million here, and this is the conversation here. We got Kyle Clifford there for $1 million. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Dylan DeMello or Kyle Clifford?
Dylan DeMello.
Or not even Dylan DeMello. Just a placeholder, right? Okay, let's delete Kyle Clifford.
So we're taking Clifford, delete signed player?
Yep.
We're about to make a lot of people mad.
And now we got $3.4 million to work out there. Evolving Wild or EvolvingHockey.com has Dylan DeMello projected to sign a 3-year, $3 million deal. Might be a little bit light. Who knows? $3 million.
I'm saying 3.5.
You're saying 3. I'm gonna say $3 million. At least 3. So let's put in Dylan DeMello for $3 million.
So he's a free agent.
He's a free agent with the Winnipeg Jets right now.
Oh, right. I forgot he got traded.
Paul Maurice said that whole thing about him watching Dylan DeMello play hockey is like watching coaches porn. So take that as you will, whatever Paul meant with that. So we're going to sign Dylan DeMello here for
3.2.
3.2?
I think you have to pay a little bit, dude.
Okay. Wait, hold on a second here. I compromised with you and Dermott for $2 million instead of 1.8.
Dude, you're not getting DeMello at $3 million.
Put him at 3. We're compromising. It's either 3 or 3.2, and Dermott's either 1.8 or 2. Right?
Sean Cook says, "Where's Janssen? He's traded."
Traded.
What year? 3 years?
3 years.
3 years at 3?
3 years is a long time for him.
You guys want to see where Janssen is? Right there. He's now an Edmonton Oiler. But that doesn't have to be the Oilers. It can be anybody, to be honest, that has the cap space for him.
So scroll down a little bit. Now just sign Dylan DeMello.
Dylan DeMello.
So now we got Dylan DeMello in there, and he's going to play with Morgan Riley. And how much cap space have we got left?
Hold on. 428.
428K. Okay. And you see, it's tight.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's still really tight. It's still really tight.
Oh, man. I'm looking
See,
at this roster.
this is what I like to say on my channel. I'm just some idiot with a camera, and if I can get it 95% of the way there, Kyle Dubas and the paid professionals like Brandon Pridham and stuff like that can figure out how to get us someone on that fourth line.
If Chris Johnston though, I'm thinking our other roster that we just had, it can be DeMello or it can be Murphy, because I think that Kerfoot is gone.
You think that Kerfoot is gone?
Now here's the thing though. What if we trade Kerfoot and get another option at center for cheaper right now?
For cheaper?
Yeah, let's do it right now. Let's trade.
Okay, so let's put Kerfoot on LTIR.
Well,
So now
I think we should just flat out trade him to make this more realistic.
I don't really know who you trade Kerfoot for. That's just a cheaper center option.
Well, no, you trade him somewhere to recoup an asset. You get a B level or C level defensive prospect.
Let's just keep him on LTIR right now and brainstorm some trades that we can make afterwards.
All right, so we are signing a UFA. Now let's go all center. So these are some options. Now,
sort by cap hit. Is
Derek
there a way to sort
Brassard?
by previous cap hit or points?
Mikael Granlund. Oh my god.
It's expensive. There's
People are
not
saying
really a lot there.
People are saying Walmart.
I don't know if the Panthers. He's on the Panthers now, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he's a free agent.
The Panthers are going to lose Evgeny Dadonov and Mike Hoffman.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't think that works. I think, man, I don't know. Do you think? Oh man.
Scroll back down. No, wait. Scroll back down. Let's call up Pierre Engvall.
Oh, okay.
Because we still have him buried. No, wait. Yeah, okay, yeah. Let's call up Pierre Engvall. So see, but this is the same as before. I'm just not a fan of trading Kerfoot. Derek Brassard he's okay, but he's not that great. I don't really think he moves the needle very much.
Okay, but what
he's
happens?
Not as good as Kerfoot at all.
What happens if you get Brassard and then you're able to re-sign somebody else for that winger's position? Like, what happens if you're able to keep Clifford at that point?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
But I don't want it to be, I guess. I want it to be good.
I'm not a huge fan of Derek Brassard.
So, what about people are saying Holla?
Eric Holla? Where's he playing?
Didn't he get traded to he got traded, I think.
Isn't he playing with Carolina?
That's what I thought, but
or
Florida.
Or did they trade...
he was in Florida.
He was part of that trade, Walmart and Holla.
Yeah, and Florida, dude, this might make sense because Florida doesn't want to spend a ton of money this offseason. He had 24 points in 48 games played, 12 goals, 12 assists. His previous cap hit was 2.7 though.
Okay, wait, hold on a second. The Florida Panthers have directives. Dale Tallon has directives to cut $10 million in salary. They're going to use that compliance buyout on Sergei Bobrovsky. Do they have anyone else on their team that's a really bad contract?
I don't know. Pull up Florida right now on your cap.
Yeah, let me just pull up Florida right now.
I
had a good point prepared, but
I like the idea of Holla, but guys, his previous cap hit was 2.7. He's probably going to get somewhere around 3. Maybe a little less. Maybe I'm overpaying him a little bit, but I feel like teams would be interested at the same number for him.
Eric Holla is a UFA.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he is a UFA. I don't know. I just think he's like the same player as Kerfoot, and I don't think he gets much less money.
Okay, but what happens if you get Holla at 2.8? You're saving like $600,000.
I don't think you get him at 2.8.
So if you get him at 3, you're saving $300,000.
Isn't it $500,000?
Oh, is Kerfoot 3.5?
Yeah, 3.5.
Okay, well then you're saving $500,000.
But I don't think he even signs for $3 million. I think he signs the exact same contract.
As Kerfoot?
Yeah.
Okay, so then
I don't really think you're,
All right, so let's do this. Let's keep working with Kerfoot still being in the lineup. This is how it's going to be interesting. what on this team and who on this team do you get rid of? You can't. So does this turn into trade? Like, you can't trade Travis Dermott as well and bring up Liljegren?
No, because I like Liljegren there as a depth option, right? You can't if so. Let's say closer towards the trade deadline, if Timothy Liljegren is looking like a staple on the Leafs blue line and he's playing better and he's earned that spot, then Travis Dermott becomes a trade chip or Justin Hall becomes a trade chip.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you, and I'd rather that. But I keep thinking in my head. CJ keeps saying 2 or 3 of Kerfoot, Janssen, and Kapanen need to go. Kapanen's not getting traded, so that puts Kerfoot as a trade asset. The Leafs have to figure out ways to get cheaper guys.
Okay, so let's put Kerfoot on LTIR then.
Like, to me, if CJ's saying that, he's already hearing that. Like, I mean,
okay, so now they got $3.8 million to work with, and that becomes the question of so let's call back up Pierre Engvall.
and see, that's what now do you just sign Clifford?
I guess so. I guess you have the cap space.
And then that also leaves you a little bit of money still.
It leaves you with a little bit of money to make a significant upgrade at the trade deadline.
Yeah, because the cap space moves around, right?
Right, it's all prorated when it comes to the like a guy making $4 million is not $4 million at the trade deadline.
Yeah,
it's closer to like 1.5 or $2 million.
So, Kyle Clifford, and he would be making $1 million. Are we gonna bump it up, or are you just saying $1 million?
You know what? Let's be generous. 1.25.
Okay, so what I was saying earlier. And it's 1 year.
1 year.
Or do you try to sneak out 2, or are you just going 1?
Just one.
So now Clifford's back. And now that lineup's complete. Now, again, it's not ideal, but okay, let's galaxy brain a little bit. That cap space says $1.6 million.
Okay.
Do you sign Joe Thornton?
See, this is the thing. This is the whole reason why I was getting at going after a Dylan DeMello instead of a guy like Connor Murphy or Josh Manson. It allows us to have a little bit more cap space. It allows us to have a little bit more depth. It allows us to have more assets on the trade front because we haven't even traded Kerfoot yet, and we still have the third and the fourth that we got for Janssen.
Yeah, but
right, and we have Liljegren still on the bench, and we still have Korshkov in the minors. There's more depth here. So if you're adding Joe Thornton to this team, he's just more depth.
That's what I mean. Like, why not at this point? If he's gonna cost you $700K,
bring him on. Bring him on.
Like,
let's do it.
Like, it's been rumored. We might as well test it out. So Joe Thornton, are we giving him 7 or 8?
Let's go 7, because Elliot Friedman said in an edition of 31 Thoughts that Joe Thornton will make his salary work if he decides to go elsewhere, and that Toronto is a legitimate option for him if he feels like San Jose is not going to be good enough to win next year. And whatever they got going on in San Jose right now, John Tavares is just happy that he's a Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yeah. SDA is not making the Leafs, and Robertson is still a maybe. Like, but we both think he'll make the team.
So now, could we still do a deal for Connor Murphy?
That's what was in there.
Like if we don't sign Kyle Clifford and Pierre Engvall's in the minors, like, okay, let's revisit that. Let's delete Kyle Clifford and put Pierre Engvall in the minors. And take off
3.2, bro.
And take off Joe Thornton.
Delete him?
Delete him.
Now the Leafs can trade for him as well. This is
we need to fill out. Wait, hold on. No, we can't because we need someone to play on the fourth line.
Bro, I don't know. Hold on. Let's see.
Well, because one of those guys got to go. One of Hull or Dermott have to go.
Yeah,
but in this sense.
Okay, but who would you rather have, Murphy or Dermott?
Murphy.
So then it's a no-brainer.
Okay.
Because think about this. if the Leafs know that Dermott's a good left-handed shot offensive minded guy, wouldn't you rather have Sandin and Hall as your bottom pairing?
Yeah,
And
I
because dude,
would.
then you can put Murphy with Muzzin, then that's a lockdown. That's a lockdown
That is
pairing.
that is that is that is a lockdown pairing.
Then you've got Riley playing with a defensive minded Murphy, right? And then you've got Sandin and Hall, where Sandin can go and do his thing, and Hall at least can be like, okay, I kind of got us over here. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um,
But sometimes Justin Hall likes to be a little bit of a rover and likes to just go for a skate.
which is fine in sheltered minutes.
In
They're not going to
sheltered
be
minutes,
doing
it's
nothing.
fine.
So let's revisit this trade. All right. So are we doing Kerfoot and Dermott in this trade, or no, just Dermott?
If it's Kerfoot and Dermott, you're not adding in any picks.
I think you still add like a kicker.
No,
You
I don't.
don't at all. Like
Nope.
a fourth.
Nope.
Okay.
Kerfoot, Dermott for Murphy and Smith.
All right. Let's test this out. So right here we've got Kerfoot and Dermott. Okay. Now to tell everybody again at home, if there's compliance buyouts and the Blackhawks really want to shed salary, they're going to use one on Seabrook, wipe that right off their cap. It's not a normal buyout where you keep money there, it's gone. They're just paying out the player. They can't afford to do that for two guys, or they just might not want to. They could just be like, we don't really want to do that. But we would like to get rid of this money and make somebody else buy him out, which would be Zack Smith. So the Leafs can take on Zack Smith, buy him out immediately, and acquire a defenseman who helps this team like Connor Murphy. So we're on the same wavelength here for sure. All right, so we're doing Zack Smith. That's the guy we're buying out.
And
And
Connor
then
Murphy.
and we're picking up Mr. Connor Murphy for this blue line. And I think this makes sense.
This allows the Blackhawks to get a centerman in there. It allows them to get a replacement for Connor Murphy in some sorts. It allows them to alleviate some salary.
Now, here's the thing. Somebody said, I'm worried about how Justin Hall will turn out for the Leafs. He played well last season, but will he be able to repeat what he did? Honestly, yes. The reason why is because now in this scenario, he's on the third pairing playing sheltered minutes with Rasmus Sandin. They don't have to be good.
Exactly. He's not expected to play top minutes with Jake Muzzin.
Yeah, so now this Leaf team turns into this. Zack Smith to LTIR, and we're calling this the buyout section. This is the compliance buyout. So this is no longer LTIR. This is the compliance buyout section for us. No more long-term injured reserve for the Leafs. Now, Connor Murphy is playing with Morgan Riley. Or no, sorry, we're going to do it this way, right? We're going to have DeMello.
See, I feel like if you don't play Connor Murphy with Morgan Riley, that's just a little bit of disrespect. He deserves to play with Connor Murphy. He deserves to get the better D pair.
But dude, here's the thing though. I mean, are you not trying to have a complete lockdown pairing like that?
Okay, fine.
You know what I mean? Like that's
I
like
could be swayed. I could be swayed.
That's like the one that you send out against teams' first line. Like that pairing is the top line against the Bruins in the first round. Like there's no way that's not the pairing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
so how much money do we have now?
Hot take hockey. I do like having the option of having Robertson with JT and Marner, but that's not going to happen this early. It's just way too early for that. So we have
Nic Robertson playing with Mitch Marner would be a lot of fun though.
Yeah, it would be $2 million.
$2 million.
And you've upgraded your blue line big time.
So you know what? We're already going a little bit heavy with the Russians. No. This allows us to bring up my boy. Been a huge fan of Nic Robertson for months now. I'm jumping on the hype train. Adam Brooks. Bring up my boy Adam Brooks. Okay. Adam Brooks played 7 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs this year, had 3 points in 7 games, looked fantastic in the minutes that he played. And I think that if you're giving up Janssen and Kerfoot, I think that you get a little bit of offense back with Adam Brooks. He's a good skater, and a lot of people around Leafs Twitter like calling him Prairie Jesus. You know why? Because he had like 130 points in the WHL, in the dub.
So is he getting $700K?
Give give him 8 because he's my boy.
No,
800K.
no. He's
Give me 8
getting
because he's my boy.
700. No, he's getting 700. We're being realistic here. He's getting 700 for 1 year. He's your fourth line centerman?
Well, you could play it around a little bit on any given night. Maybe
Okay,
Spezza
and you
doesn't
know
have
what
it
that
one
one
night, Brooks has it another.
that 1.3, you know who we're bringing in? We're
Oh
bringing
my
back Big
God.
Daddy Cliff.
Well, I mean, we got the space, right?
Dude, and you know what? The Leafs need a little bit of that Big Daddy Cliff back in their life. You know what I mean? So you bring back Big Daddy. That's what we're calling him, Big Daddy Cliff. So you bring back Cliff, maybe even David. No, I'm just kidding.
What did we do with Pierre Engvall?
Oh, he's in the minors
He's in the. We can just call up Pierre Engvall.
instead of Cliff. Who would you rather have, Clifford or Engvall? Dude, I think that Clifford is actually like you kind of have
Engvall
to.
over Brooks. Engvall over Brooks.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, yeah, okay. Let's do that.
So are we giving 1.2 to Cliff, Big Daddy Cliff?
Give him 1. No compromises.
We're
here.
going back. Okay, how about 1.1?
No compromises here.
You gave
Andrew.
a 1.1.
Do you want me to give that speech again? We
No.
already compromised with Matthews, Marner, and Nylander. We're
Okay.
not making compromises with some guy from Air, Ontario.
If you're
$1
giving
million
me,
bucks, or he could go play for the Senators.
if you're giving me back Pierre Engvall, I'm down. That gives us $3,000 of cap space.
Do we really have $3,000 in cap space?
$3,100. Now here's the thing. This team is good. Like way better. If the Leafs got DeMello and Murphy, and dude, you got to be honest, how long have I been saying the Leafs should get 2 defensemen, right? I've been saying that.
This gets you 2 defensemen.
This gets me my 2. This gives us both our boy Nic Robertson. And who knows, maybe it gets you your boy Adam Brooks Bebe if we send down Pierre Engvall.
If we send down Adam, mark my words, Adam Brooks is playing at least 20 games with the Toronto Maple Leafs next season.
Bro, I like Adam Brooks. Adam Brooks Bebe. Everybody, if you know the WWE reference to Adam Cole Bebe, that's why we say Adam Brooks Bebe. But anyways, this is a good team. Like, dude, you're offsetting the fact that you're losing a little bit of offense, and and guys, this is what I think people miss. These Leafs guys, the young core, are gonna get better as the years go on. Like, we haven't even seen the full potential of Marner and Matthews or Nylander. So, like, you're getting better in that sense. And people are saying play Thornton or Brooks instead of Engvall. I'm not playing Thornton in a full-time role.
No way in a full-time role.
But
this option allows you not to rush Timothy Liljegren, and I think that's huge.
And who knows, at the trade deadline, what happens if the Leafs go, Pierre Engvall's been playing pretty good for us, but not to the ability that we want him to. They could go after a depth guy and trade out Pierre Engvall and maybe pick up a piece there. They could trade out somebody. I don't know. They could trade out somebody else. There's a bunch of different possibilities. Who knows? Maybe Barabanov doesn't work and they have to figure out somebody else there, right?
Korshkov.
Yeah, Korshkov. He's a gritty guy.
Adam Brooks.
Bebe. Yeah, Adam Brooks. Yeah. Why does it matter where Kyle Clifford is from?
It does. It's just funny because Air Ontario is in the middle of nowhere. I
Yeah,
don't know what that is
a
in
joke.
Ontario.
Guys, it's a joke. People are saying Dermott is expendable while he's not on the team. So, in this team, he's gone.
Which I'm not a huge fan of, but like maybe you could renegotiate that trade. Maybe you include Justin Holl in that deal instead of Travis Dermott.
I actually like this setup better. I think Justin Holl fits better on the third pairing.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. I love Travis Dermott. But if you're telling me I can get Connor Murphy and Dylan DeMello, sorry, hasta la vista, I'm helping him pack his bags. Like, I'm sorry. It's just, you need to upgrade. It's, like, we can't just love guys and be like, we should keep them. No, like, if you're going to get an upgrade, you upgrade.
Would you... Nah, you know what? I'm nitpicking.
I like the roster better. Our bottom 6 wasn't really good this year anyways, and now we have defensemen on the right side who actually are good at defense. Chris Johnson said the cap may not go down. It could go up to 82.5 and stay fixed for the next few years. Yeah, he did say it could go up, but we're working at 81.5 just to be like, okay, this is probably where it's going to be at.
That would be a fair compromise, but I still think at 82.5, you got to give teams compliance buyouts, right? Or otherwise, if there's no compliance buyouts, people don't understand. You're going to create the scenario that the MLB had a couple of years ago where you're going to have to open up your own spring training camp for all the free agents because nobody is signing them. Taylor Hall, he's not going to get any money.
Yeah,
Alex Petrangelo, he's not going to get any money. No one's going to get any money. These third and fourth liners, DeMello, he's not getting $3 million if there's no compliance buyouts.
Yeah,
no way.
They'll get way cheaper deals, and the Leafs will be licking their chops at some of these guys. Now here's the thing: people are saying Uyghur is better, cheaper, and younger.
Then why does Florida trade him?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Florida would ask for a lot, and that wouldn't make sense for Toronto. Like, these deals make more sense because you're getting guys that you can actually probably make a pretty decent fair trade. Like, the trades that we made, I think, are not like terrible. Like, obviously we're getting DeMello as a free agent, but like that Zack Smith Connor Murphy deal has different pieces to it because we're helping Chicago get rid of Zack Smith's salary, whereas with Florida we're not really going to help them with anything. They are not going to take on this much money.
Do you do because Edmonton might not be able to take on all the salary for Andreas Johnsson? Do you see, because someone pointed out in the comment section Jujhar Khaira for the fourth line, and he does play a little bit of center as well. Do you take back Jujhar Khaira and like a fifth for Johnsson, and then Jujhar Khaira and a fourth,
and then Engvall goes down,
to the minors?
I'm not convinced that Khaira's better than Engvall. Like, I want to give Engvall another chance.
It's more depth. I mean, right? Like, I'd rather have Jujhar Khaira than just the picks.
Yeah, people are saying Chicago laughs if they buy out Seabrook. They will have a lot of cap. But, guys, you're forgetting that they have a lot of contracts that they need to sign. Like, yo, can you pull up real quick the guys that Chicago has to sign?
They need to re-sign Dylan Strome. They need to re-sign Dominic Kubalik. They need to re-sign Corey Crawford. And they need to re-sign Drake Caggiula.
And if you're a hockey fan that doesn't pay attention too much to guys like Kubalik came out of nowhere and is going to get a lot of money.
He probably signs a bridge deal for like 3 years, probably somewhere similar to like what Yanni Gourde got with the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're probably similar players, and I think Yanni Gourde got like $5 or $5.5 million, something like that. And then Corey Crawford, I don't see him taking much of a haircut. He probably takes a little bit of a haircut off his $6 million salary. It's going to be really close. Like, you're right. Chicago doesn't have a huge incentive to trade Murphy, but if they're also getting rid of Zack Smith's cap hit and you're getting a guy like Kerfoot and Dermott, that makes them a little bit younger, makes them a little bit faster, and it gives them a replacement for Dylan Strome if they do decide to trade him. Because you can't just trade Dylan Strome and not have a replacement. That's a huge slap in the face to guys like Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane with their window closing as well. I think that they would like to make another push for a playoff run of some sorts. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say. You're going to have to give up a lot to get Connor Murphy, but I think that Kerfoot and Dermott is a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Kerfoot is good. He's a good offensive player. He's a decent defensive player, and I think he has more to give on the power play.
Yeah. Somebody said, Audie said, "What's up?" Hey, Audie, what's good?
Hey, Audie. Good
to have you here. The Frozen Garvin said, because they get, this was in regards to the Uyghur thing, because they get a third line plug in Kerfoot and Dermott for a Dermott for Walmark and Uyghur. Kerfoot is better than Walmark, but Walmark is younger. That helps, as well as Uyghur and Dermott being now on their right side. That comment just didn't make a lot of sense.
Because they get a third line plug in Kerfoot and Dermott for Walmark and Uyghur. I don't think that Florida trades those guys. They're cheaper guys.
Somebody said, I wouldn't mind having Kara over Engvall on the fourth line. Like, I'm not sure there's much of a difference between those two. Like, I mean, I like Kara. Like, I have no problem with that. But, like, You kind of have to give Engvall another shot. I don't think that the Leafs are just going to sign him and then be like, well, we're just going to give up now. They're going to
In
give him those games.
in this scenario, like let's say Chicago says no to Connor Murphy, what does it look like if you revert the trade?
Well, we just go after another defenseman that costs the same amount of money. I mean, at that point, you know that it can work, then you do it.
I guess so.
Like this just has to be another defensive defenseman. Like you can go and sign another guy, or you can go and trade for another guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't believe in my heart of hearts that the Leafs can make one change on the blue line and be like, well, we're saved. Like they have to make multiple moves, and you have to subtract offense to acquire defense, and that's essentially what the Leafs would be doing. You lose Dermott, but you're gaining something.
I mean, this also opens up the door so that we can see guys like Austin Matthews and John Tavares and Mitch Marner and William Nylander, play 20 minutes a night on a consistent basis.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're playing your stars, and Keefe will do that. Big Daddy Keefe. That's what I call him as well. A couple Big Daddies that I call on this team. We got Big Daddy Cliff, and we got Big Daddy Keefe. But
and Adam Bebe.
Yeah, and Adam Brooks Bebe. But I don't know. People are saying Radko Gudas. I wouldn't be opposed to have Radko Gudas on this team, especially if that Murphy deal doesn't go through, and you're saying, okay, we can't get two like really good guys, but at least we can put Hall back with Muzzin. You can give DeMello to Riley, and then you can have Radko Gudas protecting Rasmus Sandin. That's another option. And then you have a little bit more money for your well, it depends how much Radko Gudas gets. I don't think he could get $3 million.
Nicholas Hjalmarsson, if he came cheaper, Nicholas Hjalmarsson's just an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah, no, Hjalmarsson, no, I don't think that happens.
But I mean, so even if you don't agree with what we're doing here in our trades and whatnot, the prevailing thought from this offseason is going to be that the Leafs, if you want the Leafs to trade one of the big four, it's not going to happen this offseason. Well, I'm open to discussing possibly trading Marner, possibly trading Nylander, but not this offseason. There's no way.
I don't think, especially if the Leafs can get defensemen like this, that there's any need to do it. I think that if the Leafs see... This is where it gets funny, because I think in a couple of years, if the Leafs see a decline in Tavares, then it gets a little serious. Like, if Tavares declines at, like, a substantial rate, then you go, okay, well, somehow we need to get rid of this contract. But I just don't think the way that Tavares keeps care of himself, the way that he eats, the way that he prepares, that we're going to see that type of decline from him. Like, I can't see it. Like, people said he was having a bad year this year. Look at his points. Like, where did that come from?
Also, he missed 6 games due to a broken finger. Six games to a broken finger.
And he should have missed more.
He should have missed way more than that. A broken finger is at least 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, and he also scored a goal in the game that he broke that finger, and it looked like a decent shot. Like, it wasn't a bad shot either. People are saying Trouba, no. Guys, I need to say this to you guys, and this is not to be rude, this is not to be mean, nothing like that. But any player on another team where they're contending too, unless the Leafs blow them out of the park, they're not going to trade him. Like, Trouba is a good fit for the Rangers because they're rebuilding, and he helped them last year. Trouba wouldn't be a good fit on the Leafs either because his defensive numbers aren't exactly that promising. Trouba's good, but not good, like a good fit as like a DeMello or Murphy. Like, I think those guys fit better for the Leafs.
See, and that's why if the Blackhawks, I don't know what the Blackhawks are, and Stan Bowman's a really weird guy, so that's why I think that they could pry Connor Murphy away from them, but definitely not a guy like Jacob Trouba and the Rangers. Trouba makes like $8 million too.
Yeah, people are saying, again, we're getting the JT compliance buyout. No, the Leafs are not buying out John Tavares. It's not happening. He did not decline. I don't know why people are saying bounce back. Like, what bounce back from what? He had a good season. He didn't bounce back because he didn't need to. He played good. Like, he played up to what we needed him to. And, again, we just said he had a broken finger. He's completely fine. He's going to score 30-plus goals again next year. And everything's going to be fine. Like, there's no reason to buy out John Tavares. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
And this is also working under the assumption that Frederick Anderson is not an absolute sieve again next year.
Yeah, like guys, if you have these two, if you have Murphy and DeMello, you add those guys. You bring up Robertson and he scores anywhere from 12 to 15 goals. Barabanov chips in for 20 points. Spezza continues to be a 25, 30-point guy. Maybe Pierre Engvall returns back to his good form. Like, he just has to play as good as he was in the beginning of the season and maybe even a step below that because he was playing pretty
Was
damn
on
good.
pace for about 40 points.
Yeah, so if he gets you 30 points, to be fair, right? If he gets you 30 points, you're still getting production from all those other guys, and Freddie plays like a 9-10 goaltender, and you get Jack Campbell playing at a 905, 910 as well. This Leaf team is 100% winning around next year. Like, this team would be substantially better. Way better. Because you're losing a couple forwards, but what you're gaining is Nic Robertson, who is going to be better than Andreas Johnsson. If it's not next year, it's going to be the year after. But Johnsson was hurt, so I mean Robertson's an upgrade already. You have Barabanov, who's taking over as another fourth line type of grinder in the corners. Like, I've seen lots of highlights of him. You know, you don't have to watch too much to realize that he actually does play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. It's not like he has to be feisty, but he doesn't give up on a puck. And like, you're adding different elements to this team that they didn't have before. You're getting a full season of Kyle Clifford, more grit, more grinding, and like, again, like, you can't deny the fact that Murphy and DeMello make this blue line a million times better. You're adding two defensive guys.
Or I mean, even to just throw a wrench into this, even though we've already like said that we're happy with it, in 2 years from now, 2 years removed after, if we were to make these trades, you're seeing guys like Kasperi Kapanen would need to be re-signed, Zach Hyman would need to be re-signed, Morgan Riley, Connor Murphy at this point. Dylan DeMello on a 3-year deal might handcuff the Leafs a little bit. So if you're not too happy about that, I mean, I also like a guy like Justin Braun. He's a little bit older. He's about 33 years old, but he could still kind of serve the same purpose that DeMello would. And he's having a decent season for the Flyers right now. And the Flyers have an excess of defensemen, and they have more coming. So if you're not happy with Dylan DeMello, maybe Justin Braun, you can get him for a little bit cheaper on a 2-year deal. So that helps out with the overall cap situation.
Yeah, that's
But
another option.
but I don't know. You're also just nitpicking at that point too. But it is a good point.
Pringle McDingle. That's a funny ass name, but this is what I don't understand. You said I would rather have a core of Matthews, Marner, and Nylander plus 11 million in cap space than a core of Tavares, Marner, Matthews, and Nylander. You still love John Tavares, but we just fixed the problem, and we still have those guys. We still have Tavares. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you don't.
the Ducks don't take that, Tyler. No
Yeah,
way.
no, Tyler, that deal, no. But, like, we just fixed the problem without giving up any of those guys. And we actually technically could have overpaid for one of those trades. So,
Yeah, like if Chicago's not satisfied with Dermott and Kerfoot, we can add in a kicker or a sweetener
yeah,
of some
like,
sorts.
and the thing is if the Leafs are that close, like, if Dubas is that close to acquiring a defenseman that's going to help the team, he's going to throw in a kicker. Because everybody's been screaming for defense. He's going to give you a defenseman. There's no question. If they walk in with the same defensive core next year, then there's a case to be made for, like, what is Dubas doing? But Dubas has made a lot of moves to be able to get the Leafs to a good position. And I think that's probably going to be another stream that we do, showing like a timeline of the reasoning between all of the deals that they do. Um, Yeah, I don't know. That would be a video to do. Wonder how this team that we just made would do in NHL 20.
That would be cool to kind of do a simulation.
All right, I don't know. I think that we'll probably cap it here because we'll probably end up doing another stream like this. You know what the thing is we can make this team. This could be the first team that we make, and then in another stream we could make another team, and go after other guys. Like, there is possibilities. So,
Everything's always fluid, right? Things are always changing, ideas are always evolving, and if we're wrong, I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm
yeah.
just not. I don't care.
I mean, I wouldn't. I think the Leafs have a chance to acquire at least one of these defensemen. So, if they could get both, I mean, we're laughing. And I hope Kyle Dubas. Honestly, it would be cool if Kyle Dubas ever watched this, because then we could be like, "Hey, man, do this." But thank you guys for stopping by. Before you leave, before anything changes, please go down into my description box. Go down there right now, please. Let's do it all together. Go into my description box. Downtown Sports is the link that I put in the description box. Go and subscribe to that account for daily Leaf stuff. You need to go there. Please subscribe there. You are not going to regret it. Help him get some more subs. He does stuff like this all the time. And him and I are going to be making more content together, whether it's a stream like this or videos. We have tons of ideas. We have tons of stuff that we're coming up with. Please go and subscribe to his account. You won't regret it. I'm sure a lot of people are already subscribed in this chat right now. But if that's it, if you have anything else to add, I think we're pretty good here.
Guys, there's 55 people in here watching right now. There's 32 likes on the video or the stream right now. If you haven't already liked the stream, drop a like on the stream. Over 2 hours of hockey content right now. We worked through a lot of stuff, and I think that a couple of likes are deserved. Don't you think, Andrew?
Yeah, I think so. You should like it up before you leave. And yeah, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Again, make sure to go and check out Downtown Sports. Link is in the description. Go and subscribe. And I mean, if you're new here somehow and you found the stream, make sure to subscribe as well. And yeah, I mean, go Leafs go, I guess. And if you're not a Leafs fan,
thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. I mean, you didn't have to, but I appreciate it. So thank you guys, and see you in the next video or stream. Okay, what?